of dragon's blood wouldn't do us any harm. A drop of dragon's blood wouldn't do us any harm. A drop of dragon's blood wouldn't do us any harm. 'Cause it's D&D game time. Oh, we'll roll the old dice and sing a song. We'll roll the old dice and sing a song. We'll roll the old dice and sing a song. 'Cause it's D&D game time.
Oh, a bottle of rum won't do us any harm. A bottle of rum won't do us any harm. A bottle of rum won't do us any harm. 'Cause it's D&D game time.
Oh, we'll roll the old dice and sing a song. We'll roll the old dice and sing a song. We'll roll the old dice and sing a song. 'Cause it's D&D game time.
Oh, there's ghosts in the sea and dead men in the sand. Old Saltmarsh sleeps while its enemies plan. Best batten down your hatches, there's a storm near at hand.
But we should have stayed on land. Oh, we'll roll the old dice and sing a song. We'll roll the old dice and sing a song. We'll roll the old dice and sing a song. 'Cause it's D&D game time. Arr!
Welcome back, everyone. For those of you who are joining us for the first time or have not been completely caught up, the party is now at sea outside of Saltmarsh. They all arrived, some of them having known each other, some coming for other reasons, but they were united in a common purpose given to them by the Council of Saltmarsh, and one councilman in particular, to clear out a haunted house. Turns out this haunted house was being used as a smuggling operation, which uncovered a much larger threat looming up and down the coast. A crew of truly sinister murderers, slavers, and, pirates, really, had been patrolling the coast. The party was commissioned to take this ship, deal with the criminals, and so they did. By force, they boarded the ship and were able to slay the first mate, the captain, the bosun, and left only 3 alive in their boarding action, who they now have tied to the bowsprit. Boarding action took place in the dead of night, and as the combat went on, as the bodies fell off the side of the ship into the surf, they could hear the gnashing of sharks' teeth as the blood in the water, the freshly chummed waters around the sea ghost became a siren calling for all the carnivorous things in the sea. Things have calmed down somewhat. A dorsal fin can occasionally be seen zipping about in these waters, but for the most part now, everything is calm. The ship has been taken. And, my friends, that is where we resume.
With the discovery of Duranthil down in the sort of secret holding area last week, I presume we can sort of move him to somewhere more comfortable, get him, taken care of. I think he was a little beat up when we found him, if I recall correctly.
Yes, it didn't look like he had been well fed. It looked like he had been virtually locked in this sort of secret room and discarded. The 2 rooms that you found towards the back of the ship, both were discovered through secret doors. You think that they were probably smuggling compartments used at some point, which would make sense. Though the one that Duranthil was chained up in, there were, iron plates attached to the wall, nailed into the wall, that made it all too easy to chain up prisoners. And you think that this is potentially a place where they would actually store for, human cargo. So slaves.
Delightful.
That's really the only way to put it.
Well, get him upstairs, get him fed, and let him to his own devices, I suppose, until we get back to land, which I think we need to make a heading back for Saltmarsh, potentially.
Are we going to take these lizard folk back there too?
Who knows?
They have been occasionally peeking their heads out of their compartment, which they have not really withdrawn from it, but occasionally you see one of them looking out, licking an eyeball, and just tongues sort of flitting to the wind. One of them even, as you see the leader has kind of poked his head out and look around, and you see a head down by his ankle that kind of reaches out and just takes a long, slow lick of the bloody deck. And then his head withdraws back in.
That's unsavory.
One of them they kind of point towards some of the carcasses here that are just still left lying on the deck, and they kind of point, and he's like got a bit of drool running down the side of his face, looking at it very hungrily.
Okay. Maybe we should make quick work of gathering anything up from the bodies that might actually be useful, and then tossing them? I don't know.
Well, that'll make the sharks happy. I've got a lot of things that I found just sort of poking around pockets and such. I found these keys, and
They're good.
That would have been useful before I nearly got decapitated.
you what?
Straps, don't worry about it. I got patched up all fine. By Talise, who is about somewhere.
Brushing her hair.
Yes.
She is actually standing out on the quarterdeck, just kind of gazing back towards shore. She looks a bit meditative, a bit pensive, watching the sunrise over the choppy ocean.
Well, someone needs to make a decision about the lizard people.
Well,
They're not
what can we
hurting
do?
anything.
Could you just tell them to leave?
Are they going to jump into the ocean and swim? We could
Well-
always make use of them.
Here's a point that may affect how we proceed here. They're supposed to be confirming whether or not a delivery actually gets made. So if we drop them off and then they make their way back to their compatriots, then we might be tipping our hand a little bit about the situation if we actually plan on doing something about it. That's still sort of
That's a good idea.
questionable.
So learning what's going to happen.
Yeah?
You say dropping them off at the swamp with the weapons.
No, I'm
Is that
saying
what you
don't.
meant? Oh,
No, what I mean is if we drop them off anywhere, that we're giving the rest of the lizards more information to work with,
aye.
potentially,
Well,
before we have the chance to control the situation.
what about if we did drop them off? We would learn a lot more of what's going on.
To go back to shore.
I think we should go and get paid first, but I'm not sure about Hungry Boy over there.
I don't
Hungry
like
boy.
the sound of that.
The lizard. He keeps licking
Oh,
his
the one
lips.
who's licking the deck. Yeah.
Yes.
The door creaks open again, and 3 heads, whoop, 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 all dart out and look about again. It's almost like clockwork. Every 10
Well-
minutes or so, they look about and say, occasionally, "New captain! New captain!"
They may be
Well-
3 head, but we're 5 head.
Duranthal's the one with the bone to pick with them, so maybe we should take a cue from him. He did seem to want to be taken back to the council.
Good point. That's a good reminder.
Can we lock them in there at least?
That's a bit.
Would that make you feel safer?
They've not been aggressive to us, though.
Well, if we take them into town, they probably will be.
Would they? I don't know much about lizard people.
Neither do I.
I only know they live in swamps.
Actually, I don't know. Can I leave that to the dice DM to see whether I actually know things about lizard people?
Well, new dice.
Yeah, go ahead and make a nature check.
Can I roll for real?
Nether rolled last game and didn't know a thing. So
Elena rolled in the
No,
first
I
dice.
only rolled a 6, so that's a total of 9. I probably don't know very much at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, 9. No, I mean, you start down the track of, oh yeah, I've heard a story about this, and then you kind of think, am I talking about Dragonborn now? It's like a everything.
Get my
And
scaly folk
you stop
confused.
yourself from saying anything because it sounds almost borderline racist against scaly things, and so you just.
what about the Tritons? Do they know anything about lizard folk?
Should I roll for that
Uh,
with my brand new dice?
you
Or do we just want to
may,
say that I know
so,
things? Because I'll take either.
Because of your background, go ahead and make a history or nature check.
Okay. Rolling with this beautiful D20 from Kraken Dice.
Which disappears when you hold it over your green
I
screen.
know! Wait!
We could all have dice like that.
There it is!
Look at my beautiful dice.
Yeah, look at
Okay,
it.
I've got one that's really big.
Ooh! I rolled. Let's see if we can do. Nope, it disappears on the blue Zelda plate. I rolled an 18 for what it's worth, and let me double check to see if I have any modifiers.
Yeah.
Plus 2, 20.
Were you doing history? Or
I
nature?
was. Oh, nature or history? Oh, I did history.
Okay, that makes sense.
History. Yeah, it would be an 18 with my nature.
Has its eye on you.
We've just hit 19,000 followers. 1,900. Sorry, I got a bit excited.
I was about to
I
say,
was like, what?
Jesus, we've jumped up 10,000 followers.
19,000!
Where did
That's all the people!
come from?
Oh, my
That's the entire population of the world.
Are you sure about that, Liz?
I just say what I feel.
Liz, is that in character or is that out of character you said that?
That's all the people in the world.
The so Sarayan, you have studied the many conflicts of the races of the land and of the sea as part of your training. Even these were boring things, right? This war began at this time during the reign, and these like all of that stuff you just had to be rote memorized on as part of your schooling. It's the worst part of being part of a martial family. But the one thing that comes up that you notice as you start to think through that is there are maybe 1 or 2 battles in which lizard folk had been enlisted to help a dragon, or in which a army looking to encamp in an area near a swamp went too far into the swamp and had some clashes with lizard folk. But for the most part, there are no records of wars happening with lizard folk. It's not something that's common, or really beyond the fact that it's uncommon. It's not in your history.
From my recollection, they mostly keep to themselves. I've heard of a couple incidences in which they were violent, but nothing where they actively sought out the violence.
Well, then that raises a strange question. Why are they getting deliveries of weapons? Has anyone asked them?
Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, I would be willing to go talk to one of them.
I take the tricorn hat off my hat and I sort of hold it out towards Sarayan. They're only going to talk to the captain, so you might as well present yourself as one.
I've done nothing to earn this, but okay.
It's temporary.
And noted. And she fits it over top of her head, turns to the group, kind of adjusts it. How do I look? Do I look official? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes. Your silence
think
says
you look
tacit
amazing.
agreement. Whoa, thank you.
Says the blind girl.
Wait, are you blind?
Yes.
Oh. I knew that all along. I didn't ask that in character, by the way. That would have been very rude. Okay. Sorayan will then go to the... I guess, like, they're in the galley? Is that where they are?
The galley is to the left-hand side of that door. There are two doors leading sort of under the front forecastle area of the ship. The left one is the galley that you opened up is empty. It's sort of a probably an officer's quarters or officer's mates. So there are probably 3 bunks together, but it's anyone who is just slightly above rank that doesn't sleep in like the main berths of just lines of cots and hammocks. So.
Okay, so I go to that door, straighten my clothes, turn to face the group and give a thumbs up, and then just let myself in.
All right. Do you actually walk in through the room?
Certainly I do, because the captain of the ship would not wait. That is their ship.
You pull it open, and the lizard folk kind of recoil. One of them picks up a spear and kind of doesn't aim it directly at you, but sort of keeps it. The point is trained near you, and the one says, "New captain."
Yes.
New captain, sea elf.
A Triton. I'm a Triton. Not a sea elf.
Not sea elf.
Not sea elf. Triton.
Blue webby. Spike ear. Not sea elf.
That is not what I look like. I think that you're...
Oh, you're right. You're coral.
Nay.
What?
Maybe you're thinking of another Triton.
Lizard folk have the color problem with their eyes.
Sure.
Pink to blue.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but they kind of look at you. They turn their head to the side, getting sort of their giant noses out of the way so they can get a better look. Not sea elf, captain.
Not sea elf. Triton, captain. I come without malice. What are you how did you come to be on this ship?
Delivery. We get goods. We pay. Pay half. Paid half. Pay more when get goods.
Right. And you were aware of what sort of goods you were receiving?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting point for us. So where were you headed? Do you know?
You take home.
So you were headed home.
Yes.
I see. Oh, and where is home exactly?
And they kind of point in a direction.
Does home have a
Large
name?
swamp.
Okay, you just stay here 1 moment. I'll be back.
Wait, captain.
Yes.
It points to one of the corpses on the deck, or a bit of the flesh. Yours? Using?
For what exactly?
May we?
Are you planning to eat that body?
Yes.
Why don't you just 1 minute? I'll be right back. Let me see what else we have on the ship. What else do you eat besides corpses?
Yes.
Okay. Just hold off for 1 second. Sorayan backs out of the room, keeping her eyes on them the whole time, even as she goes to the door. Unlocks
They all keep
it,
one
grabs
side
it,
eye
and
on
then
you the whole time.
She doesn't break eye contact. Exits backwards out of the room onto the deck. She makes her way back over to the group.
Good conversation.
Yes.
How did it go?
It was strange. What I found out may impact how we feel about bringing them home, bringing them to a safe space. It seems they were aware that they were bringing living cargo on the.
That's maybe my fault.
Oh.
The cargo that they're looking for are the weapons.
I thought they were slavers. I was like, yikes. So, although they do want to eat there's a corpse in there that they want to eat. So, I don't know how we feel about that. Captain, I defer to you. She takes off the hat, hands it back to Mariah. I think you should go talk to them.
What?
Yeah.
Why do they want the weapons?
Did you ask them about that?
For
Frankly,
war.
I did not. I became a little overwhelmed. I've been trained in diplomacy, but that was my first foray into a real life situation. I may have bitten off more than I could chew.
That's a good.
I think
and
we should
she's
all go in
blushing
there.
furiously.
I think at least 2 or 3 people should go in. None of this
How
I'll
many
go
going in
guiding.
and talking.
I'll
Just
go
get the
back.
answers.
how many
Yeah, I'll
lizard
go-
men are there?
Back to
3?
did I take count of how many lizard men there
There
were?
are 3 in there. Yeah.
Three.
All
And
right.
again,
Well,
it's just a door, and it's a small, probably 10 by 10 foot room in there. So it's cramped. If you had 6 of you in there, you'd be pretty much shoulder to shoulder.
sardines.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, time for a follow-up question. I'll go dun 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 on the door.
These poor lizard folk
There's
are so
visible
confused.
confusion as they open the door and look at you. New captain.
I lift the hat at them. It says, co-captain, actually. So
Co-captain.
what do you need all that weaponry for? What's got you so hot and bothered that you can't use your claws?
That is Queen's business.
Oh, you're queen.
We pay. We pay. No questions.
Yeah. That's totally fair. Do you like your queen?
It's my mom.
Really?
Yes.
Do you like your mom?
Yes.
Okay.
Make-
I'm just
makes him a
curious.
prince.
Sorry.
That makes yeah.
Strange
What do-
questions, new captain.
I'm a little odd. I'm gonna look back at the group, be like,
Have they eaten the corpse?
Yes, we eat corpse, please.
Wait, you've already eaten the corpse?
No, they're pointing to it.
Okay,
they didn't want
so-
to come all the way out of their room to grab it.
Do we recognize the corpse? It was just one of the baddies we killed,
One of
right?
those randos, right?
Yeah, it was just a rando. It
Yeah,
wasn't
particularly
like
the guy that fell out of the crow's nest. Took a rather hard fall, and they're kind of looking at this.
Tenderized, is he?
Yeah.
well, you know what? I
He kind
don't
of resembles roadkill a little bit. And,
All right.
have a
I-
problem with it.
If they eat it, we don't have to clean it up.
Might earn us some good.
correct.
That's true. Yes, go ahead.
Just eat it.
Be our guest.
Take it in the room though, at least.
Oh.
And 2 of them, yes, and kind of rush out, slither along, and they're very much darting their eyes nervously back and forth, and they kind of drag this smashed corpse across the deck, leaving a big smear of blood, and pull it back into the room.
Delicious.
So,
Very good.
Captain,
Very good.
shall I get the sails ready and get us back to shore?
Yeah.
Back to
let's-
swamp.
We need to drop off something first and pick up.
Drop where?
Town.
Saltmarsh.
No.
What's wrong with Saltmarsh?
We go home.
Oh no,
What's
my
deal?
camera is just manufactured.
That was
Sorry.
the deal with the last captain. There's a little boat down there if you want to take that with you.
They kind of start to babble with each other Does anyone speak Draconic?
Not me. Oh, in our
And Eris, you hear them
planning.
saying, "Is safe, no way back. Will betrayed. Worth the price. Deal broken? ? But then after all of it, they kind of nod and they say, "Yes, we take boat."
I'll lead him over to the side.
We keep weapons.
It's there. We don't know where any weapons are. We
Oh.
couldn't find any. Did I find any? Is that me lying? Did I actually find them? I didn't find them. Thank
I
God for that.
found them.
I haven't found them.
It's up to you guys if you haven't communicated that between each other. But
It was not said. I was up the top when that happened with the searching around. So
No, we leave with weapons. Was deal, paid half.
what weapons?
We didn't get paid.
We didn't make a deal.
they kind of straighten up and their hands tighten around their spears. And say,
Was deal. New captain.
It was a deal with this guy, and I give him a kick, and I threw him over to. No, he's here now. This is the old captain. He's dead.
Yes.
Hey, how about some truth?
Hmm?
Old captain dead. Now, no captain. These people from Saltmarsh. Why you want weapons?
What's he speaking? What language?
It's just speaking slowly.
This sounds like a flavor of intimidation to me.
Indeed. May I roll?
You may roll.
Hooray!
Let's
I've
hear
rolled a
that.
10, so with intimidation, that's a 15.
Sure. Did you
15.
roll the dice?
I sure did. My new Kraken dice. Beautiful.
Interesting. I have rolled pretty high as well, but they kind of back down a bit. And they say,
Mission. For good of family.
Family's important. But Saltmarsh is where I live. I want to know why your kind are gathering weapons, being that we're neighbors.
Queen says we get.
So she gives you orders and you don't ask questions, is what it sounds like.
That's kind of what
This
the queen does.
is mom.
That's how things work where I'm from, too. That's not unusual.
So, truth, no captain. Captain, crew, people you made a deal with, they're dead. You can leave with your lives and be lucky for them. We keep weapons, and Saltmarsh will be waiting if your queen feels like paying a visit.
I like this kid.
I've only got one home.
what did you say? What was the
Said I've
last
only
thing?
got one home to Inaris.
Fine. We take boat.
And very sullenly, they they pull their corpse, they pull their things together. This is all most of the stuff that they have is just, sundries. They would be able to swim with just their weapons, you think, based on but they gather what look to be some larger packs with some bedding, travel equipment, and whatnot, and between two of them they carry a large chest as well, and they load that into the boat. And two of them get all set up. It's lowered down off the side, and
Now
just
that's
looking
three
at you with
prisoners.
suspicious and accusatory eyes. The lizard folk board up into this little jolly boat and set sail towards the marsh.
So that's 3 prisoners we don't have to worry about. Now,
Aye.
suppose we see to the ones we do.
Let's get them back. Let's get them in there.
During all this, you could occasionally hear a moan or a grunt coming from the bowsprit where you've chained these new prisoners sort of together. There is a, looks to be an older human man. There is a dwarf, another dwarvish man, both clad in leathers, and then who you know as Saltfoot, the female halfling magic user, who was the one who you had spent so much time talking to before. As you approach, the other two just kind of look down at their feet. Their eyes kind of dart around with panic, but Saltfoot looks resolute. She just looks almost bored of her gag and just looks up to you and just stares, eyes darting between all of you as you approach.
I am not there, if
Okay.
anyone is approaching that group.
So we're sending her home. Or we're sending her out onto the sea, correct?
She's going back for justice.
Yes.
That's what we decided, right?
Yeah, that is what we decided, that she'd be with the 2 other prisoners and that they would just go out. And we
Right,
put
so
them out on a boat with
Mariah
money.
gave her word that she wouldn't be harmed, and then she was overruled by the group. And that's where we left that.
Well, it's not guaranteed that she'll be harmed. She still gets
Good point.
to go back out into the world.
Well,
To
she's
receive
going to jail
justice.
first. I
Justice.
go
They
to
may
the-
not harm her in jail. It's
Yeah.
not my business.
I go and ready the sails and get the boat turned around and become part of the crew.
I'll give Priyan a hand.
All right, who is, as you guys do that, it's a larger ship than probably you're used to, Priyan. Mariah, this is typical work on a day of sailing. Who is taking the helm? One thing when you truly unfurl the sails, stay them, and put them against the wind.
I sort of look at Priyan. Do you care?
It doesn't bother me, no. I do have water vehicles as well. I know
Alright.
most some of us have.
Sure. I mean, I'll take it for now, I suppose.
You're the captain. Get ready on the sails.
Not sure that means very much right now, but sure. I at least get a nice hat.
Aye, that it is.
All right, heading off then.
All right, would you please roll a water vehicles check?
Is this something that Priyan could technically assist me with to get an advantage?
Yes.
Happy to do so.
Yay! All right, let's roll a couple d20s then. Okay. Oh, that was an 18. That was an 11. So I'll take the 18, and I'm actually not sure what we add to that. I'm rather new to rolling water vehicles.
No idea what water vehicles would be down as.
It depends upon what you're trying to do, mostly. For this, it is early morning. You have to judge the weather, kind of feel out the wind, and use your best instincts based on the tide and everything. So a wisdom-based check. So your
Right, then the
proficiency
total-
modifier and your wisdom modifier.
The total would be 22 then.
22. Mariah expertly takes the helm, and you see she and Priyan are sort of working in tandem. It takes a little while. Is anyone else helping as this is going on?
Neris will try, but she doesn't really know a whole lot about ships. So you'll see her holding a rope and just sort of.
That's
not
all right.
knowing what to
So
do.
with that check was so high, Inaris, you do that, you see one of the corners of the sails is sort of flapping. Its stay is just dancing in the wind, kind of snaking its way across the wind and everything. And she, without even looking, she's instructing Priyan to do something else. And Mariah looks to you and says, "Just grab that, hold it down." And you, oh, okay, you just grab it and pull it, and you feel the sail flap and snap twice against the wind, and then you just kind of hold it there and it stops flapping around. Soon enough, Prion comes over and is able to tie a knot, a really nice looking knot, and with your help, they've kind of set the sails. And indeed, the ship turns about and glides. It'll take more, if this were a situation where you needed to do something quickly, make a fast adjustment to storm and emergency, with 3 people, this would take way too long. Boarding action or any sort of combat, you would be in a bad situation. The ship is undercrewed at the moment, but you have time. It's a calm morning, and with that high check, you spin it around and you make course towards Saltmarsh.
Meanwhile, Sorayan, in the classic act of being entirely unhelpful, is sitting there just taking notes on how everyone's doing everything, so she knows intellectually how it works, but not at all in practice.
Okay.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out as a raid's come in. So massive
what's
thank
up,
you
girls?
to Zang Max Workshop. Much appreciated for the raid. Zang does a lot of miniature stuff, so some really nice stuff there by him.
That's super cool. We were just talking at the beginning of the stream about sort of missing miniatures and dice and drawing on battle maps and everything. I'm no good at painting. I'm so terrible, but I do have a couple of miniatures. I got this Hezru here. See him. But yeah, these monsters all cheer me on from a little shelf beyond the.
Please do that every
beyond
time
the
we're
screen
attacked.
here. What's that?
I said, please do that every time we're attacked. And
Rawr. All right, and this guy too. Look at him. Anyway, so along those lines, though, of missing miniatures and stuff, we are also, those of you who came in, doing a giveaway right now because Kraken Dice, this awesome dice company who make these beautiful math rocks, are gracing us with some free dice for our viewers. So exclamation point giveaway to enter. We'll do it in about an hour here probably, and if you want to see some examples of the gorgeous D&D accessories they make, go to you can do exclamation point Kraken Dice, check out their website. And as the sun continues to rise, my friends, you heave about into Saltmarsh Harbor. Where is it that you choose to dock your ship?
Do I know whose docks are whose?
You would have been able to by this time. You spent a couple days there. You can probably recognize, for instance, the Olin dock versus you saw before the Prime Water dock. You've been to Prime Water Manor and know that his window overlooks his dock in the most micromanagey way possible. And the Solmore dock is near there. Those are the 3 that you know.
Feels poetic to me that we dock at the Oland area. So I will lead the ship in that direction.
Okay. In a strange display of perhaps justice, perhaps irony, maybe a combination of the two. But you are able to, with your previous water vehicles check, slowly bring the ship along to the side of the pier. This is likely, there's an empty spot here, and you see there are some flowers cast about the side of the dock here. Makes you think this is likely the place that the ship the Nightingale, which the very vessel you stand upon, boarded and slew. In fact, the blood upon the deck that you stand upon is blood of probably both the murderers and some of the murdered from the boarding action.
Yep. Super pleasant. Well, we'll get her tied off, weigh anchor, or not weigh anchor, do the other thing. Drop anchor. I know words. And is there anyone does anyone seem to take issue with the fact that we've docked here? Is anyone coming out?
A couple dock hands do come running out. One of them, be an older man who kind of has a limp, and he's got this tangled sort of gray hair coming down a bit past his shoulders and a beard. And he yells out, "You are there! This is the Olin dock!"
We're aware. It would be wonderful if you could send word to the councilwoman that we have successfully taken the ship that sunk one of hers.
He kind of steps back, huh? And he looks, and his eyes go wide. And indeed, all of the dock workers kind of stop, turn, stand and stare. The sea ghost, huh?
No longer, threatening your shores. And, what's his face? Snake Eyes won't be bothering you anymore either.
Snake Eye.
Snake
Just
Eye,
the one
sorry.
eye.
The one eye. Singular eye. Ha ha ha.
And they, right. Well, cast down your lines, which is the ropes that they would use to pull the ship close, fitted to the dock. They ask for that. And
All right.
as you do that, there are about 4 different lines to help tether the ship to the dock. And each time one of the sailor catches it and he begins to pull, and as it gets closer, they each speak, "Sea ghost," and spit onto the hull of the ship. "Sea ghost," and spit over and over again. A couple more gather to do this. One of them, indeed, also bringing flowers, laying them down at the dock at this spot, and then spitting on the ship.
I'm gonna lean over towards Preon and say, we gotta get this boat renamed.
Aye, as quick as possible. Maybe we should
Parade
call
is
it.
disgusted.
Maybe we should call it MCR Music 3 or something like that.
What an unusual name. Is that common up here on land, or?
It comes with 300 bits, so who knows? It might be common.
Bits, I'll have to ask you about those later. She scribbles furiously in her notebook.
On that note, thank you very much, MCR Music 3, for 300 bits. Valentine's not here, which means David would take that place.
Who we will get to in just a moment.
Yeah.
Let me.
Well, we rolled 3 2s on that.
So, Melvin obviously wins a D6 inspiration. You will have to use it tonight. Massive thank you, Music 3. Much appreciated, mate.
Yeah, truly. Cool. So, you are, as you come ashore, you will soon be given the message. Oh, sorry, Nether.
May I stay behind for a moment with Mariah?
Of course. The rest of you disembark. You're mostly ignored, and someone indeed runs to get a message or to or from the councilwoman, Etta Oland. So, but Nether and Mariah kind of stay behind before disembarking.
We're really almost decapitated.
Oh, yeah, one of the... Well, decapitation might have been a bit of an over-exaggeration, but there was a trap in one of the chests, and Daenerys was disassembling whatever it is that people who are good at thieves' tools do with thieves' tools. And just was standing a bit too close when that happened.
And she healed you.
Talise healed me, actually.
Oh. Right. I'm sorry things worked out this way.
Yeah. A little awkward. This is all getting a little bit out of hand.
Do you think you'll be able to work with these people? They don't frankly seem your type.
I mean, it's pretty clear that we don't see eye to eye on everything. As far as I can tell, there are a couple of them who have a much higher view of land justice than I do. And, I don't know. My top priority right now is that we get you settled. Make sure that no one's gonna try to kick you out of town, and keep you safe and comfortable. All right. And once all that's settled and the council holds you in high favor, then we'll see.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah. Wouldn't want you to be any real trouble.
Stop doing stupid things. Like opening chests without checking to see if they're trapped, especially in a pirate captain's quarters.
I'm not exactly known for my caution, dear, but I take it.
Well, we all have our faults.
You are very aware of mine.
Anyway, I need to go back to the bridge, but I want to see how this plays out, so...
So do I. Speaking of which, we will head off following the rest of the crew. And as we're passing by the people who are on the dock working, I grab one by the shoulder and say, "Don't fuck with my ship," and keep walking off.
You hear sort of a thump, thump, thump sound and from on the from the
right.
bowsprit.
Oh, and apparently we're delivering these guys to justice, apparently, whatever the fuck that means.
They're some of the ones, they're the crew. They were following their captain's orders when they attacked the Nightingale.
You see the eyes of those that have been kind of tying the stays down and working on the dock all shift to you, and they darken and kind of look up. All right.
Also, there's a sea elf that needs probably some caring for.
I assumed that Duranthiel was
he's
probably
coming with
accompanying you.
us?
He would be
Okay.
sticking close to, especially to Prion and Sarayan.
That's fair.
It's a blue thing.
Sure.
I'm Coral.
Oh, you're Coral, that's right.
My bad.
It's really fine.
I definitely forgot about that multiple times the
The
first
background
session.
you
Well,
chose, it threw him off.
Well, I forgot that Nether was blind, so we all forget things.
It's very true.
As soon as you guys get off and start to walk towards the this private pier towards the main part of the town, you are stopped by a messenger who tells you that you are to see the council immediately. They've already been assembled.
All right.
What are we doing with these prisoners
We're
here?
off to see the council.
We're doing whatever you want to do with them, Prion.
That's not just what I want, it's the right thing.
Well,
What was that, Jim?
that is open for debate. We're doing what you want because you wouldn't have it any other way.
We had a debate.
It seemed as though we were at an impasse and that some people will be upset that they didn't get what they wanted. As we'd be upset if we didn't get what we wanted. And the group voted, and the majority was that we take these delinquents to justice.
She
Well,
has the
I'm-
right of it.
Not going to rehash a lost vote, so let's just get on with it, shall we?
Before too long, as you are instructing or telling the dockhands what is to happen, actually a couple town guard do arrive with a man. Actually, I can show you what he looks like.
Token.
Indeed. A grizzled-looking man, one of certainly a combat experience, the least of which is the multiple scars crisscrossing his face. He is just wearing a simple tunic, no armor, but he has a long sword hanging at his side, and walks also with a noticeable limp. He and the guards gather up the prisoners and take them. You would... Anyone, let's see, probably especially Nether would know this by his voice and by his function to be Craddock Stonehorn, who is the jailer, and is said to be old war buddies with Eleander Fireborn, who's a member of the council.
Is he someone I consider to be a fair and generally someone who leaves me alone, or?
He seems to be. That
Okay.
And in fact, one of his chosen guards that he brought is one of
Eric.
the kind guards who spoke to you. Yeah. Outside of your home, who was very sympathetic to your plight and is just really seems like he really just wants to help most of the time.
2 good cops.
Watching them two are a couple strangers sitting at the end of the Oland dock. You notice they're very heavily armored. One of them is wearing a breastplate. One of them is even wearing half plate. And instead of the typical swords or spears, one of them has a morning star slung at their hip and a shield across their back. Another one has the handle of a huge greatsword sticking out from behind their shoulder. They watch closely as this action goes on, and as you continue to pass off the dock. As I said, you've been summoned, so you walk past the guards, you walk past these other armored individuals, and I assume you guys go to the council building and the town hall?
To the council.
We start
Yeah.
skipping.
If I got a chance, I would point out to Mariah the two creepy looking dudes with all the weapons.
They're pretty obvious. You have to kind of pass between them as you go.
And tip my new hat at them as we pass by.
They just walk you. One of them just gives you a slow nod.
Wait,
Yeah, what's
I know that hat. It's her. Ah!
Shit. Once we get sort of out of earshot of them, I'll lean over to Nene. Real friendly fuckers, aren't they?
They seem that way, yeah. Awfully heavily armored for standing at the docks watching the tide roll in.
Yeah.
One-
Can't fault people for what they like to wear.
Isn't this? Wait, I can't remember. Where is the survivor from the Nightingale? Where is she?
She's at the Saltmarsh estate, I believe.
And that's not where we are now.
No, we are headed to the town hall.
Got it.
Yeah.
Those guards could have been turning up here because they heard the sea ghost has just arrived.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Fair point.
So, what's the situation once we reach the council halls, Mr. DM?
So as you approach the hall, and outside of it are 4 more figures. There's 1 town guard and 3 others who seem to be also just very well armed. 2 of them with longbows, or 2 of them with crossbows, actually, and 1 with a great axe slung across his back, wearing studded leathers. 1 of them wearing chainmail. Imposing-looking individuals, and they just usher you in. It seems you're expected. As you, but you notice now, patrolling everywhere is a mixture of the typical Saltmarsh town guard and these sort of ununiformed strong men and strong women, really.
Are these new to Saltmarsh, or
Yes,
they're not part of the regular guard?
this seems to be the case. Yes.
Like within the last 24 hours, new,
Yes.
or all right.
And as you enter the council hall, it is a familiar place. You are ushered all the way into where the council is meeting. There are the door is open for you, and familiar sitting at the table are Edda Oland, Gellin Primewater, Eleander Fireborn, Anders Solmore, and Manistrad Copperlocks. In front of them, sort of timidly addressing them, you see a young man in traveling clothes. Would you like to describe yourself, David?
Sure. He's a youthful, thin, rather androgynous-looking half-elf. He appears to be about 16 years old. He's very pale, with the slightest bluish tint to his skin. He has shoulder-length silver hair pulled back in a ponytail, revealing his pointed ears. Though you probably can't see it from where you are, he has ice blue eyes and has a small set of spectacles that he wears. He wears a dark blue cloak that's piped with silver over a set of gray traveling clothes and has a large book, very heavy and thick, hanging from his belt.
As at the end of this, you're catching the end of the conversation where it looks like this young man's about to be dismissed. Eleander Fireborn, the mustached man that you see there, you know him to be the captain of the guards, is standing and says, "I am very sorry, boy. There's simply nothing we can do. We have no maps of these parts, and we cannot spare a single extra force. You see, there's been terrible things happening in the town. So we will not send anyone into the marshes, not for anything, no. Except, or not to seek for treasure, that is. If you are truly intent on going there, well, stick about. There is some business to be discussed, and perhaps you can bolster our, newly acquired little team. By the way, welcome all of you." And you see Gellin Primewater, the one at the top there with his goatee, is sulking, and the bright, boyish face of Anders Solmore lights up as he kind of jumps out of his chair and says, "I sent word to gather everyone as soon as you came. As soon as we saw the masts come into view, and you did it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're back, aren't we?
Wow. You took the ship and
No, we walked.
this dark elf, right? I mean,
She's making a joke. We took the ship.
thanks, Triton.
It's the two extremes there, I suppose.
And what of the crew?
Mostly dead, 3 taken prisoner, who I believe your town guard is collecting post-haste.
Great. Wow. Well, they will see justice done upon them for what they've
I'm
done.
sure they will.
If I can promise you anything, I can promise you that. Okay. So, did you find anything out about what they were doing? Just marauding, just being nasties up and down the coastline and taking people and
There's one thing
smuggling
I want you
stuff,
to know.
yeah? What?
There's one thing I do want you to know.
What's
The halfling we did capture. We had an agreement with her. She told us everything she knew. For maybe a more lenient just... I don't know what you can do with that, but... She did give us plenty of information that will definitely serve this town. And I looked to Mariah.
So you're arguing on her behalf for some
No.
kind of leniency, at least.
She told us everything she knew, and in an agreement, we see if you could be a little bit more lenient in your punishment towards the halfling.
I see.
Well, that was the last thing she wanted, I think.
Well, I'm not particularly fond of coddling criminals, but I understand your point. Go ahead and make a persuasion check, Prion.
Okay. Oh, yes. I was about to click it on thingy.
Aha, don't do it.
I rolled a 19, which is an
Yay.
18. It's an 18. It's still a -1.
So you see that this, as this fighter steps forward, makes his case simply, but there's just a good-hearted honesty about his request that kind of stills the eyes of the council, and even Anders, who would be the first to dismiss any sort of leniency against criminals and smugglers. Even he takes a moment and pauses and says, well, we will discuss this. I suppose there's always, well, maybe penance is in the question. I don't know.
We do have plenty of other
Send them to the
news as
salt
well.
mines of Kessel.
We do have plenty of other news as well, when I look to Mariah.
Indeed. So aside from, the typical marauding up and down the coast, bringing things to places they're not supposed to be, it seems that the captain of the, what was this ship called again? Crap. Sea Ghost. Had made a little bit of an agreement with some lizard folk that reside near the Mere of Dead Men. And by all accounts, especially from our friend here, Duranthil, I'll indicate to the sea elf that we rescued from the ship, it seems that the lizard folk are getting a tad aggressive, gathering arms, paying for said arms.
Edda Olin speaks up and says, well, this is a dire omen indeed.
We have the arms, by the way. They're locked up on the ship. But we don't know how long this deal has been going, whether they've made previous deliveries. I would assume probably better to assume the worst and then hope for the best. So, yeah.
The red-haired dwarf speaks up and says, so you're meaning to tell me that there might be an army marshalling just north of here?
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
And they kind of look, and Anders stands up and says, well, it's a good thing we've bolstered the forces then. Like I said, I needed to bring the people in to make sure we're all safe. You might notice them. It's like I said, I told you I'd keep Liana, that child from the, or she's not a child, she's like older than me, but anyway, I told you I'd keep her safe, and I've brought in a lot of extra reinforcements, all trusted people. It's totally trusted, they're well paid, and to keep Saltmarsh safe, so they're going to be here for a little while. It takes ages for any help from Neverwinter to get here, and he kind of looks towards the dwarf and Eleander. So we're all set for now. This is interesting, though. Melvin, is it?
Yes, Melvin Delaney.
You made it into the swamp a bit, yes? You have maps of the outskirts. Is that what you told us?
Yeah, I've got them here. And he pulls up his book and starts flipping through the pages frantically, trying to find the right page. And eventually finds it and holds it out. That they're all right here. All of the maps that I made of the area near here, at least.
I kind of look, just try to stand a little taller to see into the book. Oh, that's really, really cool.
Well, this is just great happenstance. Wow, we need you guys to go check this out. I mean, I'm not sending you against an army or anything, but something just doesn't add up here. Do you agree? Isn't this sort of strange? Lizard folk marshalling on the marsh, getting
Seems
If I may.
Yes, Triton.
What reason do you have to believe, even if the wizard folk are marshalling, that they wish you any harm? Do you have have you had problems with them before? As far as I know, they're a peaceful people. Are we sure meeting them with arms is the best course of action? I'm not to overstep. I'm just curious.
No. I actually agree with you. And I'm sure that the tacticians here, and he kind of gestures towards Eleander, who just kind of is leaning on his hand and looking a bit is not bored. He's taking everything in, but he's the tactical expert around whom a bunch of merchants are discussing tactics, and he's just very carefully listening to everything. And he says, I think I'm right in saying that that's why we need to send you, because, well, my guys are good at, protecting things and, roughing things up if need be, but we might need a little bit more of a subtle approach. So if we can have someone get you there, and if your skill set seems to be really vast.
Well, I'm trained in diplomacy, so I'd be happy to help.
That's great. Will you go figure out what's going on for us?
Yes. Yes. She turns to look to the group. Yes.
Will
should
we
all
be
vote.
compensated for our time?
Of course.
Delightful.
A real amount this time?
Sorry.
We've given you a lot of money.
Prion shakes his head.
Money is no object for me. I do it out of the goodness of my heart and to keep relations between the surface world and the Tritons peaceful.
That's amazing for you, but I do things for money.
That's 5 shares, right?
Okay. Sure. She kind of
I'm
retracts back into herself.
I'm sure that we
And,
can come to a reasonable conclusion here.
And Eleander actually stares at you, and he says, "Never have the differences between the dark elves and the noble people of the sea been illustrated more clearly."
She blushes a bright coral and looks down at the floor.
I still don't know why you let this thing in here. We'll make
Which
sure
thing?
to keep a watch on her.
Nene. She's not.
Because
Oh,
she's with
no.
us. She's proven
She's
trustworthy.
fine.
So long as you keep it on a short leash.
I am nobody's pet.
I'm gonna reach down and give Nene's hand a little bit of a squeeze and hope she doesn't keep talking.
You might.
Thinking in my brain, bitch about it later, bitch about it later.
I repelled invasions from the Underdark before.
Heather starts to sort of scoot away.
These here have not been so unlucky.
I have
It's
no
also
doubt, Councilman.
unlucky for you.
I have no doubt.
Well,
But she, for one, is not a servant of Loth. She may be of born of such, but she's not a servant of it.
We will see if her nature can prove her otherwise, but her demeanor does her no service.
True.
I'm not here to please anyone.
So
Peace.
we'll head out and we'll head out then, I guess.
yeah, let's, instead of waxing poetic about previous battle engagements, let's grab the map kit and talk about what we need to do to get into the marsh, all right?
But he's
that-
not a goat. A map kid?
A child. Syrian. A child.
Uh,
It's just a child, children, kid.
I see. She pulls
Synonyms.
out her
Let's
notebook.
add synonyms to the list of things that we need to teach Sarayan.
Then-
Okay.
You know, she is right. Kid is the word for a
It's
baby goat.
actually homonyms, Mariah.
I did not pay attention in class.
And
they pay us?
before you leave, we
Elf
finally,
with us.
Gellin Primewater will speak up and he says, "Well, there is the one more subject. I do believe that you took a ship on behalf of the city of Saltmarsh, and so I suppose we should decide what it is happens to it. Edda, it seems only right, given that you lost it, though. I'm sure it will take some repair to get it back up into shape for your activities."
Isn't there a rule by the sea that you keep what you
Yeah.
take?
For the capture.
Oh, these old rules. You don't really expect us to abide by those, or do you?
Why not?
I expect that if you do business on the sea, you honor the sea and all the rules that come by it.
I'm sorry. We were promised something in exchange for risking our lives to go out and take care of the problem?
Right, we have your payment, and they they send a attendant to go and find basically just a chest for all of you that is just filled with 500, or was it 600, I believe, gold pieces.
600.
600, yes.
I'll let Mariah
I'll
take
also
mine.
say I have added to all of you a shared party loot little entry. Party, can you
Delightful.
see that in there?
Yay!
Yes, indeed.
Party loot treasure log with a beautiful little
I will
image.
update that.
So
Then
now
roll
you can all
20
click
or-
on that, and whenever you want,
So are we adding? So that's 100 each, isn't it, for the 6? Is that right? It's not 600 each. It's 100 each for the 6 of us. No, we're 7 of us.
Should be 700 because it'd be 100 each, right?
Well, deal with that later, maybe.
it was 100 gold each. Unfortunately, Melvin was not there, but
No,
So
but
we-
Talise was here, so that
At
was
least,
7.
yeah.
So it'll be 700.
sure.
All right.
Oh, no, because Valentine's not here, was he? So yeah,
It'd be 6.
Sorry.
Yeah.
apologies. I'm
If Talise doesn't
confused.
get her money, she's gonna kill me.
Your fee will be that they will offer. So, who would like to? Is someone going to argue against Gellin Prime Water for the right of?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Give
we've
them both.
already evoked the old law.
All right. The council is sort of listening. They seem to be a little bit on the edge. Some voicing in favor. There's a sort of little discussion happening, and then whoever would like to step forward and make the suggestion and plead the case for it can, but will require a persuasion check.
Make persuasion check.
I would be happy to make the roll. Is there someone who could grant assistance?
I could
In
assist.
my
I'm
debate.
proficient
Assist.
in. Yeah, I'm proficient in it.
We gotta have both. Inaris,
Proficient.
though, Inaris is not the most convincing person to some members of this
Give me the
council.
damn boat.
But Moriah, what if you would like? You don't have to make the complete argument, but what are the at least the points of your
Sure.
argument that you're making here?
That first that that was not originally part of the deal. We did complete the job. We removed the threat, and it is generally understood that upon the sea, when you take, you get to keep what you get. I will add, and I'll sort of, as I say this, kind of look to the group and try to gauge whether they seem kosher with this. I would be happy to discuss with Councilwoman Oland the possibility of, like, leasing the boat to her if she has need of it when we are not using it. But it is our property. We don't want to have a standoffish relationship with them, but at the same time, it was our prize, and that should be honored.
Okay, it's very a presumptuous assertion to say to a councilwoman, "I can loan you my ship, but I own it." However, she seems to respect it. We'll roll in a second. Inaris, how are you helping this persuasion roll?
What are you gonna use the damn ship for? You have your own. And it's covered in blood, so you don't want it anyway.
If anything, that argument just kind of distracts them for a moment and just... What? They think they're
That's
a
gonna
bit
be disadvantage.
and taken aback by it.
The rain
Benefit of that
safety.
is unclear. Sarayan, you may also step forward and plead your case for the seizure of the ship.
I will say that I have not always agreed with Mariah, but I do think that she makes a compelling argument for the seizure of the ship for the reasons she has outlined above, and you have the word of a Triton, and our word is we hope that you understand that our word is good and we don't place it lightly with others.
That one, it particularly settles well with Eleander, who says, Well, if we can be assured that you are part of that crew,
Yes, certainly.
I am convinced. And I think we are all in agreement that the she-ghost belongs to all of you.
We do intend to rename it, as the name the Sea Ghost sort of carries some poor connotations locally.
It is soaked with the blood of my family.
We do have a few good ideas, like Boone's Bet Gaming, for example. So, I'm sorry. I try. But thank you very much.
Did you want to roll? Because I did go ahead and roll.
Boone's Best Gaming's just donated $20, Peter.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Boone's Best Gaming, you need to message Proofrock, which is Peter here, our DM. You'll see him in our class list. Are
we
cast list?
redeeming a
he wants an NPC.
Yeah. I freaking love it. All right. I'm so
Maybe
excited.
somebody just
I'm
actually-
so excited, guys.
But
Very
thank
cool.
you very much.
Thank you so much, my friend. Hope you're enjoying the show. Enter in for some dice giveaway. Please, everyone. Exclamation point giveaway. Giving away Kraken dice. So
Our sponsor.
Sponsor. I
Peter,
love that
did
behind
you
your head.
want that as a persuasion roll? Because I
With
was
advantage.
rolling it. Yeah, I rolled double 17s, so that's a total of 22.
Yes. It was. They do indeed. It is confirmed they will give you the ship, the Sea Ghost, to be renamed, but it is your property. Though there is a slight stipulation, they will also offer, when you have some downtime, they can either help supply a crew, which they will have to press, or let you hire your own crew, and in that case, they will install a piece of weaponry upon the ship.
Ooh.
So long as you fly Saltmarsh colors while you use it. Typically not allowed on a regular merchant's vessel so close to Saltmarsh.
Oh, good. Lovely.
Council people. We spoke before. I'm not really sure how much a ship costs, but I know 100 gold pieces is a lot. I'm wondering if, in exchange for that money, I don't require it, and my portion of the ship. I wonder if I perhaps have earned the right to stay where I've been staying. We spoke before about seeing maybe if I did tasks on behalf of Saltmarsh that I could be given that little area on a permanent basis. I'm not going to build anything. I'm not going to cause any problems. Just want to stay there.
You hear a bit of an uncomfortable silence. Those of you who can see look and notice that they kind of look about to one another. The room, the atmosphere of the room is not negative towards Nether, but there is something uncomfortable about this request, and they look and end up turning towards Gellin, who puts his fingers in a tent and sort of leans against them and says, "I'm very sorry, Nether. Unfortunately, I've just purchased the rest of the bridge myself, and, well, I have some plans for it, and they've already been put in motion. That won't be possible."
Hey, I have one more night. There's some things I need to see to.
That's fine. But be gone in the morning. For that, and so both for the good of Saltmarsh. those dingy holes need to be developed and fixed. Sorry.
How much did you
And you
purchase
need
it
to
for?
go and perform the duty that we have just commissioned you for. What is it?
How much did you purchase the bridge for?
That's none of your business, Dark Elf. I've done it and the deed is under my name.
May love take you.
Hey, that
And,
was a little uncalled for.
You see some of the Eleander actually slams his fist on the table and stands up and honors. Whoa, wow, okay. I think we have a task to do. You guys better get right to that. Eleander is just glaring at you at this point. So I think it's about time we dismissed this meeting and just got on with, protecting Saltmarsh, right?
Yes,
That
I
sounds
think
like a-
that sounds.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Saran and I are in agreement that we
Great.
should leave.
Yes.
Here's your gold.
Once again,
here,
finding the common ground.
Let me escort you guys out. I'll come with you. Here, I'll take it with you. And he kind of walks out with you guys with this chest of gold and shuts the door and says, "Wow, guys, that was almost a disaster."
Why don't you just give her back her bridge? What's the deal?
It's all right, Inoris.
It's a really big bridge. He can't have the whole thing. But also, we can't. She's been living on other people's property, sort of.
Then why can't she buy it?
Well,
Apparently Mr. Bigwig in there can buy it, then why can't we?
well, he's already bought it, you see, and if he he has to choose who to sell it to now. It's his property. You can't just offer the price for it and say so.
Isn't there anywhere else that Nether can stay that will be safe?
Yeah, she can stay anywhere. Sorry, Mariah, I keep.
Oh no, it's totally fine. We'll find. Nether gets her night, and
Well,
we'll find you something. Okay?
we have a boat now,
Promise.
Captain.
We do.
Nether,
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe live on a boat?
How would you feel about
I
that?
know it's not your home, but maybe we can make it your home.
That's a nice thought, but I'm sorry. I need to go.
She just
I start
wants a damn bridge.
To scrape and clip as I walk over towards the bridge.
I don't like that bastard. I'll say it quite clearly in front of the other councilman, the one that we do like.
Should we be further from the hall before you say something like that, Priyan?
Wait. Where'd that kid go? See.
Mariah, I think she went back to the bridge.
Yeah. This is a moment where we give Nether her space. You'll come to learn that there are times that you don't argue with her. And this feels like one of them, but we'll.
Was that
was
Nether?
weird.
Did she fall down a well? What's that, lassie?
Oh, you're rolling
check
up a
in
new
on her.
character.
We'll check in on her later. All right.
What about you over there? You youngster, you.
Me?
Aye.
Hi.
You look a bit wet behind the ears.
Sleep yourself.
I try not to be, actually. Books and water, they don't really mix well.
Oh, he made a joke.
I looked at Mariah. I knew that Serene was going to laugh at that, but that is quite ironic.
Anyway, I am very curious about your maps. By the way,
Well, I drew them all in my book. Keep track of where I've been and stuff.
You've been to all of these places?
Well, a lot of them. Some of them I copied from other people's maps. It's easier that way than going there myself.
I love learning new things. Can I talk to you about that later, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. We can talk about that.
Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Scribbles in notebook.
I think I'm going to go pay for the rest of my armor and see how they're getting on.
I think that I need to sleep
Tavern.
because we've come around now. It's been like it's morning now, effectively, right?
It is morning now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we actually slept then.
No,
we were fighting in the night, weren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the middle of the night when the ship came.
That's the main reason I went back to the bridge. I
Yeah,
need that long rest,
it's-
man.
yeah,
Warlocks.
long rest, guys.
Need those slots. If we
all
get
right.
into something, we're in trouble.
Here's my idea. All right. We're gonna divide up this cash. Those of us who spent the entirety of the past evening taking a pirate ship are going to get a bit of a rest. And then we can reconvene in, I don't know, about 8 hours. I don't know why I picked that number. And talk about this marshy situation.
Where should we meet?
How's that sound?
I mean, where are we staying? Same place?
Where's that fancy place that has the clam juice? That's not what it's called.
The Blue Otter, I think, is where we're staying.
No.
Throwback.
Oh, it should be.
The Blue Otter. Hey, we
Amazing.
should make a tavern and name it the Blue Otter.
That would be delightful.
Yeah.
Claw wine. The snapping line. Yes, let's go to the snapping line.
I'll be there soon then. I need to go and pay for this armor.
Yeah.
I have the rest of my stuff's back at the Wicker Goat. That's where I've been staying.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to go back there just to pick up my stuff at least.
Do you need help? I would love to learn about your maps.
Yes,
That seems
sure.
like a good time to
I mean,
just,
I can
like,
carry all of my
talk.
stuff, but if you want to come with me, that's fine.
Can you tell me about the places you've been and their customs and the people there and what they eat and what they do?
Can you tell us your name?
It's Melvin.
Yeah, my name's Melvin Delaney Hieronymus Windsailor, but you can just call me Mel. It's a long name.
I'll call you Melvin Delaney Hieronymus Windsailor. Shall we go?
Oh, wait a minute. You never bothered to learn my character's long name.
It wouldn't have been in character for
But
Maris
this
to know
new
your
guy.
name. Maris knew enough. Gesualdo Della
No-
Rosa
no
Della
cro- no
Tomba
cross
Della
No cross-campaign jealousy, Sean.
No.
Man,
None of that.
You can just call me Prion. This is Mariah. Never's the little one that went under the bridge. Mrs. Inaris or Nene. And Talise is around here somewhere. I've no idea what happened to Valentine. Maybe he'll be along.
Yeah, he wandered off somewhere.
And I'm Sarayan, but I've already told you that. Should we go?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Is that spelled with an I or a Y?
It's spelled Sereien.
Okay.
It's a family name.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Here's his Mel.
I
Good
Yeah,
luck.
you can call me Mel.
mutter under my breath, I am so overwhelmed by all of the youthful vibes.
I'm clearly too old for this.
Samesies.
I'm
gonna go to sleep.
I'll take 50 from the kitty and go and pay for the armor, which is what I own.
You owe 50?
I only owe 50. I paid the rest, so
Cool.
All right.
so I take it off the party kitty. How do I do that?
The party kitty.
There's a shared thing.
It needs to
under
be,
it. It
yeah.
should be,
I need
say,
to go
party
in and
treasure log.
update it because I've been keeping a list of all the stuff that's in the bag of holding. So
It's the
I'll take
party kitty. You have to put
Yes.
that's a special kind of cat.
Yeah, kitty.
Alrighty.
Okay, so it sounds like some people are heading back to the snapping line.
Yep.
We have Nether going home to under the bridge, and we have a walk through town happening. But you know what we should do first? All right, my friends, shall we return? First up, so we have a group going to the tavern. Actually, Nether, is it your intention to go spend the night by yourself under the bridge?
Well, I suppose that'll depend on what all happens over the next 8 hours. But yeah, do you want to come to me now, or do you want to come back to later?
I was just checking in. The rest of you are going to just rest at the tavern.
I intend to spend 8 hours at least under the bridge.
Gotcha.
And what I need to do, but
So let's pick up with Melvin and Sarayan, because I'm excited for this. you guys are heading back to the other side of town. Now, I'm going to pull up the Saltmarsh town map for all of you, or put you all onto it. Give it a moment or two to load here, and then I will explain where you are. So, sort of towards the middle of the map, in this little river delta that Saltmarsh is built upon, you can see a interesting building that's labeled Council Hall, yeah? Can you see that right here yet? Is it loaded there for you guys?
Yeah.
Cool. So, that is where you are. You guys will need to make the trek. Across the Sharkfin Bridge and all the way over here to the Wicker Goat. Not a long walk, but there's some features along the way. Most notably, you guys are just starting to get out of the company of others and get to a place where you can actually have a conversation. And then both of you step on this bridge. And Melvin, your stomach suddenly lurches. You almost lose balance, and you feel unwell, dizzy, vertigo, and nauseous. It takes a moment to stomach it, but you do not feel well as you're walking on this bridge.
Well, that's weird.
Oh. Yeah, have you not experienced that before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, I guess you kind of get used to it.
Weird. What causes that?
She starts flipping frantically through her book to see if she'd taken any notes about what causes this phenomenon.
Make a religion check.
Okay. Should I make that with my Kraken dice?
Oh, you certainly may.
Yay!
It does sound
Plumb
German
the
and
depths
Norwegian.
of your knowledge.
The Kraken dice.
The Kraken dice! Alright. Boop. 13 plus 0. So that's 13.
Nothing really makes sense to you why that would be.
Great.
Maybe a curse of some sort, but it's not a very active one, very latent, very just kind of a pervasive ill will towards maybe towards elven kind or of elven kind, if that makes sense. Maybe something terrible happened to elves here or on behalf of elves here. You don't really know, but either way, it seems to affect those with any sort of elvish heritage.
Yeah, you can see this again, coral blush start to creep across her cheeks, and now she's getting splotchy on her neck.
Oh, who's splotching?
She's blotchy because she hates to be, she hates to be called on and then doesn't have the answer to the question. It looks as though I must have not taken particularly good notes. I think it just has something to do with those of us who have some sort of elven blood in our lineage, or...
Oh, okay, I see. And he summons a tiny quill out of nowhere, and just starts writing. Doesn't pull out an ink bottle or anything. He just starts writing in his book.
Oh my gosh!
And ink begins to appear on the page. And he writes that down.
Oh, my persona! That's insane! What? How did you do that?
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Well, it's just a little bit of magic. I wave it over the page, and the writing disappears off the page again, and then he writes it back down. It's just a magical quill.
Did you make that?
Yeah, here. And I hand it to her, and then I summon a new one, and the one in her hand disappears.
This is incredible. And she takes out her own quill, licks the tip of the quill, and starts scribbling fiercely. You'll have to tell me more about this later, if you don't mind, of course.
Okay. I'm not sure I can teach you how to do it, but I
It's okay.
can tell you about
like
it.
To understand the mechanics.
Yeah, okay. Sure. So you say elven blood, right?
Yes.
Okay, elven blood. Got it.
So what brings
An
you?
elf minding a stall just kind of looks up as you guys are passing. Huh? And then lets you guys go by.
Elven blood.
Indeed.
Yes, writing down.
The classic. So, Melvin, what brings you to Saltmarsh?
Well, so my master Dwin, he sent me from Neverwinter. I'm supposed to be looking for he flips through the pages, back a couple pages. It's a castle of some sort. It was like the home of some arcane order that liked to study the stars. But nobody's seen them for like 100 years or so, and nobody knows where their headquarters were. Supposedly they've got a bunch of cool magical artifacts there and a bunch of knowledge and stuff. So
That sounds great.
supposed to be looking for it, but I don't really know what I'm looking for or how to find it. So I'm just sort of trying to find someone who can guide me through the marsh or protect me or something. I don't know.
Well,
Town council wasn't really helpful though.
I could protect you.
Oh, really?
I'm
You
trained
can-
in battle.
Oh, you can fight. That's great because I
In
really
theory,
can't.
yes.
Okay, in theory.
In theory, yeah.
That's
I mean,
encouraging.
I've only had one experience so far where I actually had to kill a living thing, and
Oh,
her eyes
but
kind of
you-
glass over.
But you've done that. That's good at least. I
yeah.
haven't had to do that yet.
It'll change your perspective
Oh.
about doing that. Potentially.
Change your perspective. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Should I be writing things down?
If you want, it's.
Change your perspective. Oh, I said that.
Yeah, you did. That's why I wrote it down.
She just looks down into her journal and keeps walking.
This is like the scribing equivalent of audio feedback. What is it? Oh, just writing it down. Oh, I'm just writing it down. What'd you...
I don't want to forget anything for my project.
Don't want to forget what I said.
Oh.
No, like what you're writing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I
The
couldn't
professor
forget it.
taking notes on his own class.
He's like, ah, yes.
Oh.
Well put.
Wow,
me.
I was particularly eloquent.
What a salient point I made.
That's
I love
funny.
that word.
I have to actually.
Such a good word.
You opera people. I have a story to tell you at some point.
Yay.
But anyway,
So we're walking.
Yeah, so you're walking. You do get to the Wicker Goat. You're able to gather your things. Is there anything else you guys want to do before heading back to meet up with the rest of the crew at the snapping line?
I just tell Melvin why I'm up on the other side of the ocean. Why I'm up on land with the land dwellers.
Sure. And I believe David, the player, might not know exactly. Do you have the Cliff Notes version for that?
Great.
Liz?
Yeah, I do. So, Sorayan is on her sort of rite of passage journey to become a fully fledged paladin. She comes from a noble family beneath the sea, and she is up here to try to learn as much as she can, and to put all of the things that she's studied for her whole life into practice. So she's just up here. It's a rite of passage sort of thing. She's not expecting anything crazy to happen.
Oh, that makes sense. So does that mean you're like a princess or something?
I try not to. I don't. I've heard that classism is a thing here, and I don't want people to view me differently. So, while the answer is yes, the answer is no. Yes and no. Yes, truly, secretly, yes, but no, for all intents and purposes.
Okay, I should write that down so I don't forget it.
Don't write all intensive purposes because that's not the saying. All intents and purposes. Yeah. Yes. It's just been one of those things I've seen pop up recently in scholarly forums.
Really? I've not come across that yet.
Sadly, yes.
I'll keep an eye out and
What is
make
this
sure to correct
pop-up you speak of?
It's in Triton Architecture Quarterly, of course.
Yes, obviously.
Those scholarly papers.
Yeah, in the Triton Architectural Quarterly. Ask Persona.
Triton Architectural Quarterly. Oh.
I'm gonna need to buy some more journals.
Down too.
I'll have to subscribe to them. I don't think I've ever read that publication.
It's really good. Very fascinating.
Okay.
Riddled with errors, but fascinating.
Interesting. Wow.
All right. So you guys are able to make your way back. You meet up with Mariah and Daenerys and Prion, who are all sitting about. Talise has not returned, but she did mention she was going to the temple. She needed to spend some time there. She was concerned about a few things, needed to rest and meditate there. So
get to go and pay my bill and see how long it's going to.
You do, yes. So Prion, you go to the blacksmith. He tells you that he's very grateful for the upfront work, and so will do his best to get it done in about a solid 2 weeks, he thinks.
Okay.
He also says he's getting less business from the guards. He kind of complains. He says that the mercenaries in town have kind of set up their own little small forge to repair their own weapons and stuff in town.
So I'm sorry to hear. But if you can get that done a lot quicker, I'll pay you some more.
Well, you want it done right, you know. It's, honestly, some of these things just need to cool and rest. It's not like working through the night so much as letting the metal sit. You've got to marry the seams, you know, not just bolt them together. Otherwise, they'll be coming apart on you, or even splitting if an arrow hits that spot. You don't want that.
Just give it some extra love, maybe. My favorite weapon here is a trident. Could you inscribe something like that on the breastplate?
Well, I suppose as the other parts are coming together, I could try to etch something that's
Right. Give me something fancy.
fancy.
Aye.
You realize this is supposed to keep swords from piercing your chest and everything.
Aye, it'll still do that, would it not?
Right, but you want it fancy.
Yeah, just something. Just some. Whatever you can do.
That's fine. I'm just pulling your leg, kid. It's no problem.
Thank you.
Gotta make it your own, right?
Aye, that I do.
Have you worn anything like this before?
I've not. I managed to grab myself some chain, and that's about it, and pick up the shield.
Well, it's gonna be a lot different experience than wearing chain.
I'm
You
looking
see,
forward to it.
just what I'll say. I say to any of the knights or jousters or whoever the hell needs a full metal get-up like this. It's great. You can throw around your weight and absorb a blow from quite a few different kinds of weapons, but don't get used to it. Little kid with a dagger can run up behind you, and you even got some mail on the back of your calf there, but they jab the right way, split those rings, sever a tendon in the back of your leg. You're as good as useless. So, don't forget to... You still gotta move. You can't just let everything hit you and bounce off, yeah?
Oh, definitely. Thank you. You mentioned knights. I mean, I'm not knight material. And I don't even know if they even have them around here, do they not?
Well, Saltmarsh has never cared much for royalty, you see. Council is, well, they're from the common families who set up doing business here. They kind of shrug off the influence of Neverwinter and those true nobles and lords. And I mean, we tend to keep to ourselves when those Lords Alliance badges come around town. But why do you ask?
You mentioned knights only wear this sort of armor. I mean, I don't want to be... I don't want people thinking I'm a knight if I don't deserve it, you know?
Well, do you act pompous? Do you think it's the purpose of others' existence to increase the wealth upon which you allow them to live?
Of course not.
And you don't sound like any knight I've ever met.
That bad.
Some exceptions, of course, but usually it's because someone's great-grandpa did something noble. So now their weenie kids have a beautiful spot of land and get to reap all the benefits that the common people work and sweat for.
That's not where I'd aspire to be. I want to help people. I fell in with a good group here. They seem the right type.
Ah, you're one of those that...
strange.
Sorry, what did you say?
So they're a little bit strange. But they're alright, I like them.
Ah, you're one of those that took the ship,
Aye, that we are.
brought that evil thing into port.
Yes.
Well, he kind of looks about and he says, I appreciate your business, and something about you just speaks true. Prion, is it?
Aye, sir, it is. Well, yeah, we have some
Well,
good quality
anyway.
weapons on there. We could maybe sell them to you.
Interesting. I'm not really a weapon broker. I can make them, but, you know, I gotta be careful about all of that. I appreciate it, though,
I'll
but
speak to the captain.
I'm happy to see what you have. Prion, be careful. There's talk, right, about, well, the lot of y'all newcomers. A lot's happened since you came about, and Nether, I think her name is, that little kid they call Scrapes, crawled out of her hole under the bridge. A lot has happened since. Some people hold a lot of grief right now based on what's happened, and they're looking to place that grief and that anger somewhere. Outsiders are an easy target.
Aye, I can imagine. Thank you for the heads up.
Not everyone sees it the same. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Well, take care of yourself and get used to being able to breathe while you still can. You won't feel like it when you put this on. He puts his hand on the breastplate that he's been working on and sort of thumps the plate armor.
I'm hoping it was the right choice, but thank you. Have a good day.
My pleasure. And you then rejoin with Mariah and Melvin, Inaris, and Sarayan. All of them at the inn, enjoying claw wine, perhaps.
Yeah. I imagine at this point I'm one or two in already. And I've got my violin out, and I'm not like full on playing with the bow, but I'm kind of just like plucking away a little bit, and it kind of sounds like I'm piecing together a melody, sort of experimenting a little bit with different, runs of pitches and just trying some stuff out.
Okay. Those of you who can hear it, probably you hear Mariah just some of what she's doing is just plucking at the strings, not really fully bowing to, but certain times it feels like a note that's plucked is about 3 times as loud, or almost like she's suddenly right next to you and the string is right next to your ear and it just vibrates and can't help but get it out of your ear. It's captivating. It's unnerving but beautiful. Sometimes you just you want to like put a finger in your ear and kind of work it out. Other times it's just you don't want it to stop, and it just feels nice and warm and fuzzy, the sound. But anyway, there's clearly a higher power, but there's clearly power at work in the melodies that she's able to create, and you feel just the edges of it as she sort of sits and practices with a glass of claw wine in front of her and 2 empties.
Sarayan is making tasting notes of the claw wine.
Let's hear them.
She's aerating. She's got the
Some of those real world skills in here, Liz.
She's doing the
yeah,
dipping against it. Yep.
She's like, "Can I get a Ban Marie, please? Thank you so much." Yeah, she's looking at it in the light.
Side note, I was telling my wife I really love this wine. I was super tired and having a glass, and I was like, yeah, see, also it's a beautiful ruby color wine from Spain. And I went, yeah, see, look at this color. I just dumped it on my face sitting on the couch.
No,
I'm waiting for the day that I do that in front of a customer, because it's gonna happen to me.
Yeah,
if you could play it off and be like, when you're really good, that's when.
That's what they train us to do here at the winery.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that's what I'd call a 1 or a critical fail on the wine check there. So, speaking of, guys, exclamation point, giveaway. We're giving away another set of Kraken dice at the end of the stream. So those of you hanging out with us here, drinking claw wine maybe with us, please enter that, and we'll give it away at the end of the stream. Unless there's other things you guys want to discuss here at the Snapping Line. It's getting late, and you guys fought tooth and nail.
Yeah.
Some of you.
Yeah. We need to sleep.
Mm-hmm. And Daenerys is probably drunk AF.
Daenerys is putting them back pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Each drink is gonna set you back a silver piece. Not that it really matters based on what you paid, but you know. Mark that off, please, for however many you've had. The council will indeed continue to pay for your rooms for the moment. Though Anders Solmore would have suggested maybe finding some other arrangements if possible, or paying your own, since they have been paying you an awful lot recently. So, you think this is maybe the last night you can get pro bono?
That's totally fair. I don't begrudge him that.
And Nether, it is day as you shuffle your way back to your little place under the bridge.
So Nether finds her path down, keeping out of the way of everyone, and sort of walks in and moves her hand over the various growths that are there, the grasses, the seaweed, the sort of various marsh plants that are right there at the edge. And she comes into her space and sort of touches everything. I'm back. No. I've never really talked to you before. Always seemed kind of silly. I always thought that maybe part of it was just in my mind. But these last couple times when I've been away, well, let's just say I really felt your absence. And I didn't want to just go and not say goodbye. Because I have to go. I'm not going to be able to stay here anymore. And I still feel silly, but I just wanted to say thank you. I know you've helped me. And that's really hard to talk to other folk about it, but I won't ever forget it. Well, this is the last time. So if there's anything you want me to do, or if there's something you want to say, I guess now's the time. I'll miss you very much. And she starts gathering all her little treasures. She's got a rock that is worn very, very smooth on one side, and the other side has a crack in it that is roughly in the shape of a spiral. And she has a little metal box that actually has a mirror inside, but she doesn't know that. And there's a piece from a dragon chest set. It's the Emperor. Reminds her of her father. And she goes over to her pallet of rags and curls up for one last time here in the only home that she can remember for the last 7 years.
Nether, as you sleep, there are a couple moments when you reluctantly awaken. It's that feeling of just wanting to return to the comfort that you experience when you wake. But every time you do, you feel a little less of what you know to be this place in it. There's a coldness that wasn't there before, and a stillness. And as you kind of toss and turn, as you think maybe that this, whatever it was that reached out to you, whatever kept you safe here, helped you learn to be yourself, you hear something with every wave that laps up on the shore that's familiar. It's almost as if this place was created by you, but the melody being sung through you is emanating from somewhere a little bit different, but very much nearby. There's even a slight moment where a lapping of a wave, and you stand up and look about, and you look at your treasures, and you stand. You feel everything that you had associated with the bridge, some of it condensing within you. Feeling like maybe you can take at least part of it with you. And you get this longing for the lapping water. You hear it like you hadn't before. Before, the noise was fine. But the desire for the water is so clear and comforting right now. An odd duality. You long to be near it, but there's something comforting and almost pleasurable about the agony of the distance from it, too. Nether, make a wisdom saving throw.
I rolled a 2.
Nether,
So that is a total of 4.
you must go down to the sea, to the roaring sea and the tide. You feel almost no option. You are compelled.
What time of day is it?
You hear very little sound, an occasional scuffle of a boot across Sharkfin Bridge, and an occasional chorus from the empty net of those who, you know, drink until after the sun is likely up.
Have
It
I
is the middle of the
received a
night.
long rest?
Not quite.
Ah. All right. Well, I gather my staff and I don't know if I've got so in a particular place or like down to the dock or
Probably just out from the bridge and down to the banks of the river.
all right. Okay. Well, that I can do.
You
So
go
I
down and you
there.
the water lapping about you. Hear the song in the air. It's sweet. It's comforting and inviting. It resonates with you fully. And you stop there. You feel the cold water lapping against your feet. And you can almost hear the actual melody now. The actual song. It was just whispers before. The faintest, maybe a hint of a melody or the idea of one, but now you hear the notes almost. And then, cutting through it, you hear from the empty net, from the sort of porch-like protrudence on the back of it. Sister Scrapes! Sister Scrapes! Rat she ate! Sister Scrapes! Pam pam param! Just drunkenly singing in the night, intruding on your melody.
I really hate people. I don't ever say that out loud, but I really do hate them. Why can't they all just be quiet?
Sing.
I don't.
Sister Scrapes! Sister Scrapes! Bunch of rats she ate. Bam, param, bam, 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 bam.
I'm not like Mariah. I don't have a voice for it.
Sister Scrapes, bam, bam, the rats she ate.
And start trying to sing, trying to find the melody, trying to just hum along with just sort of a guttural sound. I can't really make a sound much louder than a whisper, but
Make an Arcana check with your Charisma modifier.
Ooh, that's good. That's an 18. So that's a +2 for Arcana. Then add the charisma on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So +5, 18 plus 5, 23.
All right. You sort of... It's less about singing the melody as that whatever melody is being sung all about this place, you let your voice rise. You just let it happen. You let it come out from your body and do so in a way that blends with it. You know the melody, you just simply have to let it be. You feel the warmth that you know from the bridge again as you start to just hum almost silently along with it. And that sound goes away for a moment. The song of Sister Scrapes. And then you hear a swoosh and a splash from the direction of the empty net.
Hello?
Splash, splash. The sound of someone far off, swimming, or at least struggling to stay above the water. And then a cry of pain. And you hear thumping of feet over and over and over again. And you hear a couple other men saying, "Ah, fucking idiot, you fell!" And oh god, his leg! Oh, shit, fucking sharks coming in this far. I usually don't come this far up. What is going on here? And they're pulling. You hear the sound of leather sort of dragging against the shore as you recognize the gruff voice calling out in pain again as they seem to be hauling him up onto the shore, having lost a portion of his leg to some sort of fish or shark in the bay. And then the song is silent.
Wow. Well, I won't even pretend that was a coincidence. But maybe be a little more subtle next time.
The waves feel contented.
Does that mean you'll come with me?
There's no response. But you feel less apprehensive about leaving. Though perhaps some of that apprehension replaced by a fear of what just transpired in front of you.
Take a step back from the water.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And you can close your eyes and resume, and everyone can complete their long rest.
Level 3.
Level 3.
Welcome to your subclasses, everyone. Well, some of you.
How am I going to explain mine to myself?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Suddenly, I know more things.
Well, that's the thing, DM. You know what my class is and what I've got, so how do I bring
I sure do.
especially someone that's been following me around.
Jade, you wake up. Excuse me. Prion, you wake up in the morning and there's a orange, beautiful sunset starting to rise over Saltmarsh. You've slept a very long time. But it makes sense after what you've been through. It makes you worried in a sense because the previous, or 2 days ago, you awoke to a burning ship. But this is simply a beautiful orange of a new day rising. And you hear the sea, the comforting in and out of its of the surf, and fishermen going to set their nets to load up and get ready to go. And then you hear a knock on your window.
I head over.
There is a seagull that you recognize just sitting there,
I'll
knocking.
smile and open it up.
It just kind of
Morning,
looks at you.
It's going to be a good day, eh? Let me guess what you ate this morning. Fish? I go back over and start putting on my armor.
It kind of hops down and waddles around your room. It goes to your bag, and then it just kind of... You don't usually take it off, but it's odd. You hear a... And you look, and it's sitting there on top of your bed with your amulet in its beak.
I look down to my neck and... I didn't know you were a thief. I pick it up.
And it sort of waddles over to you, and it looks like it's gesturing towards you. Like,
No, it's
with
not
just
yours. It's mine.
Indicating with its beak.
It's mine.
Mine? Mine? No, but...
Yes, mine.
I pick it up and put it on. I start putting on, obviously, my clothes and then my armor.
Got it.
And then I go to reach over for my trident. Almost feels weird that there's some sort of magnetic pull. He just looks at his hand and then goes to reach out for his trident, and it literally just moves like really fastly straight to his hand, and he just catches it. Well, that's new. And he spends like maybe 10 minutes trying this.
Just yo-yoing
it's
with
like-
your trident.
He's just sitting there, he's like, obviously a bit confused as how he can do
Yeah.
it.
Something every little boy goes through eventually.
So stop playing with your weapon.
Yikes.
Once you figure out what you can do with it, you don't want to do anything else.
Oh, dear.
Well, I have to go. It's been a fun night.
This is really weird. It must be a boy thing. Yeah, I'll head downstairs. It's probably mid-afternoon, isn't it? Or we slept really long.
You've slept through the night.
Wow,
You've slept
okay.
probably about 12 hours. That goes for most of you. So,
Head down to see if I can get some food.
and the rest of you wake up. You all, though, felt at one point, whether it be in a dream or if you were a little bit, what's the word? If you had a bit of insomnia, the ocean would have felt very calming, but all of you felt the pull last night,
Soporific?
wanting to go down. Oh, well, perhaps.
Down to the seas again.
To the roaring seas and the tide. Though you were all able to shake it off, as it ended somewhat abruptly. Whether or not you had decided, I should just go take a walk along the shore, or maybe you just tried to ignore it. It stopped abruptly. in the middle of the night last night. But you all awake. Nether, do you join them at the snapping line in the morning?
I do.
Okay. All of you are assembled there this morning. A task at hand to investigate the swamps and see exactly what the true nature of this lizard folk threat is.
Alrighty then, so a little bit of a chunk into breakfast. Okay, Melvin. Let's hear it.
Hear what?
Swamps! You know. What's the dealio?
Oh, you mean the maps? They're right over here. I haven't gone super far. I mean, it's not a good idea to just wander into the swamps aimlessly, you know. You gotta take it one bit at a time. So I made 2 trips out there and pretty quickly realized that I wasn't really gonna find much on my own, which is why I came back and went to talk to the council. So I don't have a lot, but I'm happy to share what I got.
All good. A bit of a map fanatic myself. I indicate to a scroll case that's attached to my bag. Nice old ones in there if you
Oh,
feel like kind of perusal.
Yeah, I'd love to take a look at some time.
Yeah. But in any event, the marshes are north of here, correct, DM?
Correct.
Okay. Do we know, or perhaps then if we don't, you could offer a manner in which we would find this out. Is it easiest to approach from land or sea?
Melvin, are you proficient with cartographer's tools?
No.
All right. Make an intelligence check in that case.
Sure. That is a total of 8.
Aye.
To you,
yeah,
it looks absolutely equidistant. It's like, well, here's where that might be. We could. It completely depends on where you're trying to go. You get a little overwhelmed by all of this, especially by the direct question. It's just a little overwhelming at the moment.
I'm not really sure off the top of my head. I mean, it looks like it'd be about the same, but I might be able to figure out who we could ask if you really want to know. And DM, I have the sage background. Anytime I fail a intelligence check, I think it is, to determine information, if I do not know the information, I know where to find it.
Sure.
In general terms.
Based on the conversations, then your brain is apt at creating these connections. So you think, oh, that I'll check out later. That I'll check out later. One of the things you heard was a conversation that we kind of brushed past, where Duranthiel talked about his people being concerned. This would be the sea elf population that's closest to Saltmarsh. His people were worried about the lizard folk as well, and feel that they have taken up position in the most northern part of the marsh. Probably, you do think that there is either you could sail up the side of the marsh, look for in talking to Duranthiel, and I'm kind of skipping ahead on this, if you summon him, he will say that you could either sail up the side, and you could drop anchor and then send a smaller boat into the little estuaries and stuff that run through the marsh, or you could go walk all the way around to the northern side of the marsh, and from the tip you could probably find there's a sprawling network of paths that you would have to take down. It would potentially getting lost, but also not having to worry about taking a boat or anything like that.
And I'll share that with the party.
Well, sounds like a boat might be easier.
Yeah, based on that information, I think it probably would be easier. Unfortunately.
All in favor, please say aye.
I like
Captain.
boats. Because where there are boats, there's water.
That's true.
Very true, eh?
Don't
Sure, that'll make
particularly
Toulouse happy
care
as
for
well.
being out on the open water. Or at least I didn't. But
You find your sea legs.
anything that means we don't have to walk is better for me.
Looks like that
Lovely.
cat wants to eat you, Nether. Mariah,
Yeah.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
up?
we've obviously still got those weapons on board we could sell.
We do need to do something about that. I want to remind you all that we also have a, well, I was going to say a metric fuck ton, but I don't think that Aneris would agree with my qualifying the amount here. Gold ingots
Oh,
that we
aye.
can work with.
That's a unit of measurement I'm not familiar with.
Which, ingots or metric fuck ton?
The metric fuck ton.
It's it is a flexible metric.
Well, then why is it useful?
'Cause you
That
don't
doesn't seem practical at all.
It's useful because you don't have to give a fuck.
What's a fuck? We'll talk later. I'm sorry. I just get wrapped up in all my questions.
No, I actually agree with you in this one. I'm not sure I've heard of that unit of measure either.
It wasn't in any of my books at school, so.
You two have not spent enough time on the ocean.
Wow.
That's true.
I've spent a lot of time in the ocean.
Yes, and there is a distinct difference. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the
Okay.
term motion in the ocean? It's like the same sort of thing.
Well,
Sorry.
I know that the
Sorry.
tide comes in and out based on the position of the moon and the gravitational pull. And is it a scientific study? Is there somewhere I can read about the motion of the ocean?
Well, I heard about that there was a song that was sung. In the.
It gets requested sometimes. You know, when you're in a large, rowdy group of people at a bar and someone's looking for something, well, familiar.
No, I don't know what that's like.
I don't know either.
I completely understand why you don't know. Maybe that's something we will remedy at another date. Yes, shall we? Food.
Yes, let's go, please, now.
Sure, yeah. Oh, sure. She starts hurriedly packing up all of her notes and everything into her pack.
To the boat!
To the boat!
So
Do we
you
have,
have
a boat?
full. You have what?
What boat are we going to?
The one that's ours?
Can we take the boat up the river?
No, we're
It's-
not going up
I
there. We're going
may
up
have,
the,
if I
coastline.
miscommunicated, I'm sorry. He suggested the two ways were either walking all the way around the marsh and going in from the top, or going on the coastline along the edge of the marsh, in which case you will have to take probably a smaller vessel in to the sort of heart where the
No.
lizard
Here's
folk
a
were seen.
question then. We sent the lizard folk away on our jolly boat.
Correct.
Is there another one?
If there
Does
was,
boat
why would
come
they
with
have needed
small
ours?
boat? Okay. We need to
Yeah.
get a small boat.
Well, we've got the gold.
I
We got the
suppose walking it is then.
what? Well, just buy a small boat.
Well, come on now. I don't want to walk, but even I know that will cost a lot of money when we
Well,
could
let's just
just
go ask.
walk
We're not-
across the land.
Why don't we just take one?
Couldn't we? That's not legal. That's why you can't just take one. Couldn't we rent one?
That's an idea. I suppose it would mean finding someone who'd be willing to go up into the marsh.
Well, we have a capable captain right here in Mariah.
Sure we do.
She seemed capable enough.
I
Getting
know
us
my way
here.
around a boat.
Aye, so do I.
No one's disputing that.
Ah, yes, and Prion. We have two capable captains. Couldn't we?
How far is it?
We could just borrow one.
If by borrow you mean we're bringing it back, then yes, and they understand that we're bringing it back, then yes.
We could bring it back, but they don't have to know about it.
No, that's not borrowing.
How about we at least just go ask?
Yes,
You never know until you ask.
that's very true.
On
That's
top
how
of
I've learned a lot of things.
So sometimes you do know before you ask, but technically,
There is one other thing, Mariah, and to the group as well. Obviously, some are very thankful for what we've been doing here. Some are not happy at all. We need to be careful.
Always am.
We're stirring up a storm.
Oh, there was a storm stirring up shit already, and we just got caught in it.
But no, it's not just that. We're the new people. Who's going to get the blame? Regardless of who's doing it.
Everybody sort of turns toward Melvin.
We could very well be being used as a scapegoat here.
Blame the dark elf. They always.
I look to Sarayan and I say, that means we could quite easily get blamed.
Yes,
Set up.
I wasn't familiar with the genus scapegoat, so thank you.
Sorry,
It's
Anaris.
related to the kid that's not a baby goat.
Oh, yes. I flip to a certain part of my journal, mark underneath my entry for kid, that is a baby, scapegoat. Nothing to do with the animal.
What was you going to say, Anaris?
They'll blame the dark elf. They always do.
Nether nods.
Yeah.
I know what you feel.
Well, if they're blaming you, they're blaming us. Because we're part of a group, are we not?
So, are we renting a boat? Are we buying a boat? Are we walking?
I don't know how far it is. How far is it to walk? I look to Mel.
Mel, it took you a while to get here, and you know that the trip around the marsh is not pleasant and will take probably about the better part of 2 days.
yeah, it's a bit of a walk. I mean, it's like 2 days of travel on foot.
Well, hell with that. Let's get a boat.
All right. Let's head on down towards the docks and see if someone can part with a junk boat.
Okay. You're able to find, one of the docks. Do you go to anyone in particular, or just...
Rion, ideas.
Does Captain Z perhaps
Let me go and
have
ask.
a boat we could use?
Oh, right. Yeah, faithful quartermaster, right? Yeah, well, let's check her first. She didn't seem to dislike us.
She is going to flip a coin here.
Maybe we'll find that, that
She
that
is...
strange fella, Valentine. I'm glad we got rid of him.
She is frequently not here. She is oftentimes on short expeditions or tending to other things. She is quite busy. There is about a 50-50 chance that she is in and that you can deal with Captain Zendros.
Hey, boy, jump.
So,
Come here, jump.
Kraken, she's in.
Jump.
Natural one, fail.
Jump.
So, and it just went everywhere. You find, sitting outside, the familiar red tiefling form of Captain Zendros. By the way, D2s are fun. Sometimes decide a little random chance. Exclamation point giveaway in our chat. Please enter it. It's we're giving away some Kraken dice. These things are beautiful, and we are so thankful. Thank you, Kraken dice. You're amazing. We love you and love your dice. You will too. So enter the giveaway. We're going to do it in probably about 45 minutes here. So when we end the session. Anyway, Captain Zendros, indeed, the red tiefling is present. For those of you who have not seen her yet, I will post handout showing, or I actually just am going to drag her portrait on. Do this. This
She's
is
super
the
cool
tiefling
looking.
Captain Zendros.
All right.
And now look who we have here. I hear you were quite successful painting the deck red. Those pirates didn't know what was coming for them, eh?
No, not at all.
Impressive. And who is this faithful student you have here?
Melvin Delaney Hieronymus Wind Chaser?
It's Wind Sailor, but
Sailor.
good job.
Sorry.
Almost no one remembers it on the first try.
Well, still haven't got you one.
And I'm
That's-
Sarayan.
Hello.
I love your is that an earring on your horn or it's
Well,
very
yes.
beautiful.
I suppose so. Technically, things you call earrings go on your ears, and this
That's
is on
what
my
I-
horn.
Look, the
So
words
what's
are right out
so
of
what
her
is
mouth.
that called?
Let's
I'm
just.
compiling a glossary of terms that I have encountered on my journey to the above world. Yes, what is it called?
Wow, you are really something, huh? I have gone quite up and down this coast and never found something like you, Titan.
Thank you.
I do not know its name.
I do not know its name. Okay, it's an I
Call
do
it
not
a
know
bit
its
of-
name. Thank
Call
you.
it a bit of gilding.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to think about this. Thank you.
These
No,
two
no.
note takers.
Moriah, what are these? What is going on here?
We're setting out on yet another little journey here, courtesy of the council. And we seem to have misplaced a smaller boat. Jolly boat size. Since we can't really take the big boat all the way to land when there's no dock. So, yeah, we were sort of curious whether you had something about that, whether it was available to buy or rent. I don't know.
I tend not to rent things to people who misplace them. If you have indeed misplaced this boat, it would not
That
be
was
good
a
if you
poor-
misplaced my property.
That was a poor way to describe that, and that's on me. We sent it away with some people who needed it more than we did at the time.
Somehow this does not calm my concerns.
That's fair. Well, if you really want us to buy it from you so that we don't have to worry about whose property is whose, then just tell us what your price is.
I would love to sell you a boat. We could go for 100 gold pieces. It will be
Dope.
sturdy, have a step-up mast, and everything you need for the little side excursions from your main vessel.
That sounds great to me. Y'all, do you have any objections?
It's
No.
walking.
Done.
Lovely. I hand her a gold ingot that is worth
Just-
100 gold.
She kind of picks up the brick and weighs it. Solid.
Quite.
Good.
That came out of the bag of holding, by the way, so I just sort of reach in.
Is there anything else I can do before your daring adventure continues?
Friends?
You need to explain how you got that huge thing out of that small bag. But that can wait.
I do magic.
So does Melvin.
Oh. We'll have to talk about that later.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
This is such a strange combination of inane and fascinating. You are really something.
We're still trying to learn ourselves. Yes, do you have anything that might be useful to us? We're going to the swamp.
A swamp.
Do you have anything that'll neutralize poison?
I was never. I told you, when you are done with these folks, we could use you. This is perfect. Imagine if you were standing here. You could have said that right away. You would have made a nice little sail for yourself. Yes, anti-venoms. I will sell them to you at... we can do it at 30 gold apiece.
30, was that?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 3 of
That's-
them to offer right now.
That sounds fine to me. How about we grab all 3, yo?
Sounds good.
Lovely.
Seems wise.
That would be 90 gold. Can she give me 10 gold back if I give her another ingot?
She can make change, yes.
Awesome.
Where did you get these ingots?
No, just raided a pirate ship.
Ah, of course.
We borrowed
They are
them.
a bit slick, though. There's some oil, or they smell awful. What? So they are the right weight. They do stink.
Yeah.
Anaris, I'm beginning to think you don't understand what borrow means. I can help you verify what you think it means later and clarify that for you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we've made the purchase, and we should grab our boat and leave before anyone wants to kill anyone. So, let's do
Before
that.
we leave, Melvin, do you sell anything that like helps you float?
Like
Floaties.
life preservers.
Yes, anything like that? Yeah.
It would come as standard equipment on your jolly boat, is to have a life, to have something that can float. Usually stuffed gut with straw to
Okay. Great.
help
Thank you.
stay afloat. Yes.
Wood also floats. You could just hold on to something made of wood.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think of that. Let me write that down so I don't forget it.
Oh my god.
You really have to write that down.
The two of them are going to be the death of me.
Just in case.
Therayan, do we know which boat we're taking?
What happens if you drop your book in the water and it sinks?
Then they forget everything.
Well, that's why I've got it tied to my waist. I mean, it's treated with wax, just in case.
Mine is also treated with wax. Also, do we know
Are you
which
two
boat we're
related?
taking? No, I've never met
her before.
No.
Are you sure?
Match made in heaven.
DM, do we
Yeah.
know which boat we're taking?
Which boat?
Yeah.
Like jolly boat.
Yeah. Can our party, have we been shown the boat in question?
Yeah. It's a good one. I mean, you can expect it. Those. Of you
I
who
was
want
gonna
real
say
proficiency-
Sarayan's over there inspecting the boat, making notes.
It looks good. I mean, it's similar to the one you had before, but it's newer. It's
Cool.
still got some of the like the sides of it, the side rails and stuff, almost have a bit more of a rough wooden feel. Where after years of use, a wooden boat is always, it's still varnished, but it's not quite as smooth as a very well loved boat. It's new.
Got
Sarayan
that new
runs
boat smell.
her hand along part of the wood and gets her very first splinter.
Ouch.
Baby's first splinter.
Is it normal for the boat to prick you when you touch it?
Only if it doesn't like you.
You better write
Sorry,
that
I
down.
don't know what I've done. I'll work to fix it.
You better
Begins
write that
picking at
down.
her hand.
Swim around the boat 3 times and then spit over your shoulder.
That usually works.
Her eyes just...
I'm just grinning right at you. I'm not trying to make you believe me.
Let's go,
I
shall we?
feel like this is a joke.
Can we name it the
go.
Jolly Oliver? After my dog?
The Jolly Ollie?
The Jolly Ollie, please.
Sure. We'll name the jolly boat the Jolly Ollie.
That just begs for a song.
Yay! Yes.
Oh no!
I've got a list developing.
This is where Sean goes away for 2 weeks, and next week, and in 2 weeks' time, we're going to be singing a shanty about bloody
The
Jolly
Jolly Ollie.
Jolly, ollie, 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 ollie.
Oh,
Yes.
He's already written it.
Should we maybe skip ahead to the part where we get Jolly Ollie over to soon to be not named Sea Ghost?
Yes, that's fine. You can get it all over there. Do you have in mind? Have you? You know that if all of you leave
Yeah.
on this other boat, there will be no one attending your ship.
I wonder if we could borrow a couple people.
Can we talk to Salmar? Anders?
Homer? Yeah.
and see if he'd be willing to watch it or outfit somebody to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's go talk to him and see if he's got anyone he can spare.
Heading to the Saltmarsh residence. You are greeted, of course, first, as always, by the, always smiling and pleasant face of one Scaran Wave Chaser, who always seems to be coming and going and has a habit of arriving back from one of his appointments, right as you guys arrive at the Saltmarsh residence. So you haven't left yet.
Oh,
He
we're on our
says-
way out, don't worry.
We've already left. We're having an out-of-body experience.
Fair enough. We were actually hoping, or wondering, or whatever, whether the Saltmarsh estate has a couple people that they could spare to join us aboard the ship and guard it when we go on our little marsh excursion.
Yeah, can't we get Valentine and that as well to guard it? And
Your friend has been looking after Leanna in your absence. I could see if you could be persuaded along with some others.
How is she anyway?
No, she's quite well. She's a little cagey.
She's
Seems
in a
little
cage?
Suffocated by her protection.
Not
Not
even
a literal one, my dear
Well,
Triton.
we've killed that captain and that now, so surely is she safe or?
Likely for now, but... Well, Anders made a promise, you see. He's concerned.
Who else would have been on that boat that may recognize her? I don't know. Apart from the 3 we brought back with us.
As far as we know, everyone else is dead, so...
And the others are under
Gosh.
sturdy lock and key. Well done.
You don't sound too pleased.
Yippee!
I'm brimming with happiness.
You know, I can tell.
Mhm.
It's just coming off of you in waves.
Just that positive vibrancy.
You can relate, right?
Absolutely.
So, a crew.
I do have a question.
Oh, what's up, Nevin?
Well, it's impressive what Anders Saltmarsh is able to do with all these new, well, I was going to say faces, but new people. Where do they come from?
As
Not
you
from
know,
Neverwinter.
Some of them, yes.
Aren't they Lord's Alliance people? Did I hear that right?
Well, the governors are. These are friends and trusted business contacts of the security variety.
Would these be the people you'd hire to look after our boat?
I would need some compensation, but I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to believe that Master Saltmarsh would acquiesce to this.
Do all these folk have a leader? Is it a mercenary band?
No, from here and there, old veterans and, well, adventurers like yourselves looking for more work. Those types. Trusted, of course, and duly vetted by myself and others.
DM, on a technical point of order, I personally was intending this to be separate from the choice between the council supplying a crew versus us hiring a crew decision.
It's a longer
This is
decision.
this is just like a couple people to spare for this particular mission. Just
Sure.
wanted to make sure that was clear.
Yeah.
Cool.
Tell you what. For their daily retainer. For 50 gold, I can send you a crew of 5. Expert masked hands, capable fighters. Your ship will be safe.
Sure. That's 50 total, he means?
50 total.
Fine. We've got the cash to cover that.
Is that
You'll need to
50
feed
total
them-
per day or 50 total?
Do you expect to be gone for long?
A couple days max, hopefully. Fingers crossed that we don't run into any issues.
I'm going to need to charge another 50 if they're gone longer than 72 hours.
Totally fine.
So how would all of these men cost?
About. These are the cream of the crop. Well, with some exceptions, and they are sticking next to Anders and those he needs to directly protect.
Alrighty then. Well, let's see here. Break another ingot. No, actually we do have just straight up 50 plus gold here. Okay, yeah, so I can pay him directly 50 gold from party funds for this.
With the gold that we got for as a reward, did everyone write it down singular or?
For the most recent job, everyone except David should have taken 100 gold.
Oh,
personally.
okay. I didn't.
Mariah has all my gold.
Yeah, I'm keeping track of that separately.
We'll put
Thank
50
you.
back in then that I stole from it, and I'll just add 50.
Yeah, I assumed that yours was
I
just
didn't-
coming out of yours.
yeah. I didn't add it to the thing, so
Yep.
I'll take it.
So add 50 to your personal gold. But yeah, so we have 57 gold randomly accrued from various things. So 50 gold for the butler. For our crew of 5 for 72 hours.
He says he will send them immediately.
Huzzah! Shall we?
Aye, let's do it.
We're off to see the marsh.
Sorayan
The
trots
wonderful
up
lizards of marsh.
behind Mariah. So, if we don't come back within the 72-hour time frame, will the next 50 gold payment cover another 72 hours? Did you verify that, or what is that?
I didn't verify, but that's probably a safe assumption.
Okay. She just kind of falls back, taking notes, trying to keep track of her finances.
Yeah. I mean, we are fucking loaded in party gold right now, so you know.
Oh, money's no
Worry about-
object. She's a princess.
Oh yeah.
Big spenders.
Big spender.
I've always been a big spender. And,
She doesn't want to brag, but money's not an object.
Has she checked her credit cards lately? Daddy might have cut her off.
No, Dad, why?
Anyway, to the boat.
To the ship, you guys can get loaded up. The Stolmore mercenaries are there waiting for you. And you may set sail as soon as you are ready.
Getting onto the ship, Melvin is clearly very nervous. He takes his time.
Melvin, have you been on a ship before?
Once or twice, yeah.
Well, this ship is very safe, despite the fact that it pricked me when I pet it. It should be fine. It looked very safe.
Okay.
Don't
just-
mind the blood. Don't mind the blood spatters.
Well, I
Melvin.
wasn't worried about that. I'm just not a big fan of water.
Don't stand near the edge then.
Oh, okay. And he goes and stands in the middle, as close to the center of the boat as he possibly can.
And I have to wonder why these people come to a place called Saltmarsh that are afraid of water.
Melvin, don't fall in. There's sharks.
First the bird,
that's-
now the books.
Encouraging.
If you fell in, I could swim in and get you, or Priam
Oh,
could.
that's good because I don't really know how to swim.
Oh, that's good information for me to have. She flips to Melvin's personal page in her book and writes this down.
Don't you have aquatic elf blood? So to see it in your coloring.
Yeah, my dad was an aquatic elf, but I never learned how to swim. I was raised by my mom in Neverwinter, so I've never met my dad, but supposedly he was a really good swimmer.
DM, we don't need to get into it, but I would like to try and engage or listen carefully to the people who are going to the ship with to see if they talk, to see if we can get maybe an accent, get an idea where they might be from. Just does something's up. My tiefling sense is tingling.
Sure.
Let's take stock of the crew.
You see two of them actually up on the quarterdeck at one point. Once you've got all the rigging set, you're kind of on a nice course. Two of them are leaning up against the gunwale up on the way up, not at the quarterdeck, sorry, on the forecastle, like on the front part of the ship, and they're sort of leaning, looking down and talking. The waves, though, you guys are making a nice pace, nice clip, and the waves are sort of crashing up against the hull, so it's a bit hard to hear as they look down and talk, but you can make a perception check.
Disadvantage?
It's for listening, so no.
Okay. Another roll of the Kraken die. I've rolled an 18. So that is plus 0. So 18. That's math I can do.
20.
Math rocks.
No, it doesn't.
So there is a either wood elf, but it's probably a wood elven woman with studded leather, who is sort of leaning casually and standing a bit more sure-footed, grasping the rail and looking down is a half-orc, and she's kind of teasing him about a few things as he's just sitting there kind of glowering down at the water. There are a few references to something about a sea tower, about parts of a city, and they speak very disparagingly about an organization known as the Flaming Fist.
Well, that might ring a bell.
As they do that, they look, and then the elf just looks over her shoulder, and well, you probably wouldn't be able to see that, I guess, but at one point she does. Hello there, little girl. Something we can help you out with?
You're from Baldur's Gate?
Yeah. It's fucking cold up here.
I was born there.
I'm sorry. So what brings you up to Saltmarsh?
I was about to ask you that myself.
Well, I mean, you hired us. Sold more before that.
Just going where the money takes you?
There's a lot going on here right now. The dwarves pulling silver out of that mine, like, faster than the, well, knuckle-headed fishermen can pull that fish out of the sea. And, well, a lot of paths crossing. There's fortunes need protecting.
You in charge of these?
Yeah. I'm the senior member, and she kind of gives a glance to the half-orc. You just hear him say, as he's looking down over the side.
Right. Well, I'm Nether. Nice meeting you. Senior member. Well, that's it.
Troxia, it's my name. That's what I go by.
That's what I was looking for. Could leave our ship in the hands of
Well,
random NPCs.
I did want to know their names and get those down.
I've got Troxia for now.
Okay. Other ones pending. Delightful. On the sea we go.
Yeah, and she will, assuming there's nothing else you say, she kind of just, good luck, big boy. And she just throws her hip into his side and kind of knocks him off balance. And you see, you can hear him just like hanging onto the gunwale for dear life as he's just sitting there and looking out. His feet are widely planted, and he's just hanging on and just staring straight out into the as you guys go forward. And she, with just a few easy steps, swings her way around onto the shrouds, which are the sort of nets that lead up to the top of the masts, and just
showing off your lingo there,
just,
Peter.
Runs up as if she, as if it, well, costs.
Other DMs would be like, the ship thing, the flappy bit, the long ropey thing.
Shrouds. And she runs up them onto the crow's nest.
I looked at the half orc and I say, the bucket's over there.
Nope. Keep my eye on the horizon. You'll be fine.
Okay, so you can
That's
either use the
what they
bucket
said.
or over the side is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, I'm over this.
And he looks back. He's like, "Well,
I'm over the side right now.
Oh, yeah, this is gonna be I looked at Mariah. Are we ready?
Oh yeah.
You guys are already underway.
Yeah, we're already going, man.
Okay,
like,
man the
full
sails or whatever.
sail
she usually
ahead.
do.
And just blinks and time passes. What?
Anyone proficient with navigator's tools?
Yes. Actually. I'm very excited about that.
Would you like to make an intelligence-based check with your proficiency bonus to set the proper course?
I thought it was survival. Oops. Okay, never mind. Yes.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. It can you as a wisdom-based versus analyzing the maps that you've been provided. I'm willing to hear the justification for the survival.
Oh, I don't mean I did actually mean wisdom, not intelligence. It came out.
No, that's what I meant.
Because
Like,
that's what I was looking at on the thing.
If you think it should be if you want to make a wisdom-based check with the tools, that makes sense to me.
Wisdom
too.
is used for
Yes.
tracking, so.
Yeah.
That is what I wanted to do because there's a difference of 1.
Okay.
You never know. Let's try this, please.
I would say that it's based on the method in which you do it. So
Sure.
we'll go for wisdom.
I rolled a 19. That's very exciting. So
That was going to be the first natural 20.
I know.
We haven't had one
4.
yet. Cracking dice.
24.
Just kidding, we love you.
See, now
wanna see
you're
the
gonna get the
Kraken.
20. Peter.
Yeah. So total was 20, you said? Or
24.
24. So you look at the many deltas that kind of flow out from the swamp, and there's one that is particularly large, and looking up ahead, the coastline changes and you can see cliffs rising. You know that must be the edge of the true marshes. It's been about half a day, but a good wind, a good clip has gotten you all the way here. You know this is the largest delta furthest north. This is your best chance going inland towards the area where the lizard folk had been spotted.
Alrighty. Well,
Damn, I'm right in remembering that you said there were grub things in the bilge.
Yes,
Did we ever get that sorted?
not to my knowledge.
Oh,
whoops. Totally forgot that. Can we maybe deal with that while we're en route?
Does that ring a bell? Is that a common problem in ships, in villages? Since I've spent a lot of time in villages de-ratting them as nether, have I encountered large grubs?
Maybe the very worst ships, those who have not taken care of the bilge or have used the bilge for disposal purposes at times, things as bad as grave worms can sometimes come along.
So don't go in the bilge.
Okay. Yep. Great. That's wonderful. Yay. We're gonna need a cleaning crew when we get back.
So you make your way to the river delta. Who's Mariah? You're still in control here.
Sure.
So you give the call, and echoing out, you say, "We're here," and then immediately you hear the elven woman yell out a series of commands, just almost catching you before you even said the words.
Yeah.
And
Good.
you see the dwarf just, or the half orc just kind of shakes his head and goes towards the capstan to start lowering the anchor. But before that, you see a little flurry of activity as these 5 just take the responsibility completely off you and start furling the sails, pulling them up one by one, and getting the ship ready for a brief mooring.
It's been a while since I've seen that efficient of a crew.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
impressive.
we should keep him.
Yeah.
Now that we're out where we need to be, there's probably grave grubs in the bilge. So have fun.
Don't go down there.
Cleaning duty.
Is what
Oh, yeah,
the
that
half
actually-
orc kind of
that would
grumbles
be-
about,
that would
and then
Cool. Yeah.
and then kind of runs back up to the forecastle, where he sort of just grabs again onto the gunwale and just rocks back and forth with the ship, his feet set probably about 4 feet apart from one another, almost completely splayed legs, trying to just steady himself.
Oh boy. Well,
Shall we?
shall we?
Rowing in, then you make your way up the river delta, and the first thing you hear is the buzzing. Dozens and dozens of flies everywhere, as the water is salt laden, but it is also pretty stagnant and smelly. There's this bubbling sound, and even here amid the day, you can hear the croaking of toads. You can hear, again, the incessant static sound of flies always buzzing about. And the river continues and continues and continues until it simply stops. It becomes a few rivulets that join. The boat can go no further, and there is a path to the north and a short path to the south. The path to the north seems to lead into a very large grove of trees. They almost look like a hill in this sort of foggy, marshy terrain, until you realize that it moves just a little bit, the dead branches just shifting ever so slightly.
Melvin, where are we?
Well, I think we're in the swamp. Beyond that, I haven't been over here yet, so I can start sketching it out, but I don't know.
I'll sketch away.
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and create a quill that I'm gonna give to the Mage Hand, and it's going to sketch as we go.
Okay.
To Mariah and say,
All right.
Is he a wizard?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Thoraian's eyes are just so huge over in the corner,
Yeah.
watching this happen.
That's the sort of fellow that learns his magic out of a book.
Oh, hopefully he can defend himself. I don't like the look of this place.
How's the terrain around here, DM?
It is, the ground is soggy. There are some what look to be like maybe small paths, but either way, you're going to be ankle deep in muck as you go.
Grody.
Yum.
Well, here we go. Nether, are you all right? Coming through here?
Well, if I
Need a hand?
Oh, I'm actually doing all right.
Okay. Shout if you need something, all right?
I will.
All right. And I
You
guess
guys
we're
can
heading
see.
north.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I guess we're heading up the northern path.
All right, going the northern path, and as you see this, halfway up the delta, you saw that a seagull was frantically flapping after you. Seems out of place for his terrain, but it lands on Prion's shoulder, then hops down to the side, and as you guys are getting out, it sort of looks over the edge and then at one point just shoves its beak down to the water, and it seems to have speared a fish, which kind of flops around in its beak. And then it turns to Prion, looks at you, shake his head side to side with this fish just starting to flap slower and slower and slower.
Happy eating.
And it says, you look at it, and it just in your mind you hear, I can help. If I go away, just cook me a fish. And then it just throws the fish up, and it just slides straight down its gullet.
Is that burb I hear?
Oh, it's I think I might got hit on the head a bit harder yesterday.
What do you mean?
It just spoke to me. Ignore me. I'm just being crazy, maybe.
The bird spoke to you.
Aye.
Do you speak bird?
No.
Oh.
I speak bird.
Can you?
Do?
Yeah.
To be fair, there's a lot of natural magic out there. Who knows? Maybe you've been affected.
That sounds bad. Oh.
No, it's not bad.
Nether,
necessarily.
maybe you say hello to it. See what it says.
Okay. Hello.
It just kind of looks at you,
He's not very talkative.
turns its head.
I usually can't shut him up.
Is he talking to you now?
No.
You're wasting time.
He is now. He says I'm wasting time.
Did I hear him say that?
No.
Are you sure you're all right?
It didn't even squawk. You just saw Prion react to go, oh.
I can talk to birds. Although I don't usually do it. Maybe that's the problem.
Or maybe it's not a bird.
Oh.
Maybe it's not talking and Prion has lost his mind.
There's a
Well, everyone's
razor
got-
theory about something like that.
Everyone's got a little bit of crazy. So, and I think we've got bigger fish to fry, so to speak, in this situation. So if you've gone
The
off the
seagull
deep
looks
end,
up with interest.
I mean, there's plenty of magical explanations for why he could be hearing things that we're not.
I'm with Matt Boy.
Please tell me why, Melvin.
Well, there's the telepathic communication. You can talk to people without making any noise. And they sometimes can talk back.
I mean, that's a wizard thing.
Not
Not-
necessarily.
Not just a wizard thing. Other magical individuals can use it too.
Heather tries to talk to a frog just to make sure she can still talk to animals.
I try to communicate with him mentally then. Do you like fish?
It's fine. Yes.
You're a bird, or you must like fish.
I'm not really a bird. Also, you're still wasting time.
We're wasting time, but he says he's not a bird.
Aha! Called it.
That explains it.
Well,
Was
let's
it, though?
listen to the bird that's not a bird and just keep on hoofing.
very
Oh, no.
impatient, not a bird.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
This bird is all
Dude.
business.
You guys, go ahead.
Come on. Is it Eolak? Have I been calling you by the right name?
It kind of narrows its eyes for a second and then says, "Yes."
Good. Go. Come on then. Melvin, tell me more about this bird. Not bird.
As you guys, I assume, tie up the boat and now begin sort of trudging in. Yeah.
DM, would I know anything about creatures that are not what they seem?
Do you? Well, actually, just roll an Arcana check.
Sure.
And
With your
don't roll a
Kraken
natural
dice.
one.
Yes, and I'm going to use the D6 inspiration that was so kindly gifted earlier in the
Yay.
chat. Ooh, that's a good roll too. So that's a, you said Arcana?
Yeah.
That'll be a 21.
Excellent. You know that certain creatures spirits can bind themselves to people as familiars, but usually that's a ritual like Find Familiar that is performed, though some creatures can actually submit to this before the first ritual to bind them takes place. Yeah, not that would be the best explanation, if it is truly revealing itself like this, that it's some type of fae or fiend or something like that.
It could be something from like the Feywild or a celestial creature or something that's decided to become your familiar. That can happen occasionally. I mean, usually familiars are summoned with some sort of ritual, but occasionally it can happen that something chooses to become a familiar. And
Well, he said something about if I need him to cook a fish. I look to the bird. Is that right?
That's not really it. Just the wizard knows. Just ask him about it.
He said to ask you about it.
well, that seems to indicate to me that it probably is your familiar now. I can tell you what I know, but I don't actually know how to summon a familiar. I can tell you sort of like what I've learned about it generally.
Sure. And we'll probably talk about it as we go on. But while we stop that, thank you very much to Snake Spinner, who's just gifted $20 for 4D20 inspirations.
All right, we're gonna put these on next session.
It's a
D20,
D20, so it's a D20.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they stick.
So
yeah.
You stick around.
Oh, right.
Yes,
Good
it's
point.
the ones that stick aroundy.
You're amazing,
Thank
Snake
you
Spinner.
very much, Snake Spinner.
Thank you.
Very generous.
It looks like that's going to go out to Nether, Melvin, Prion, and Talise will start next session with one. Oh,
She's not here.
Nice.
we should probably, let's see, have the
she's
players
not here.
present. So Mariah,
But thank you very, very much, Snake Spinner. You are very generous.
too kind.
Indeed.
You guys head into the swamp, and before long, opening up in front of you is this, or sort of looming in front of you is what seems to be a very large grove of trees. As you start stepping around them, some of you kind of swimming in this, even for those of you with the swim speed, is not recommended. It is thick, goopy, it is disgusting, and there's zero visibility when you're under that water. So you kind of have to hop between the sort of mangrove-like trees which are standing in this brackish water. And doing so it's tough to keep your orientation straight. It's easy to veer around and I'll hop to this tree, and then this tree, and then suddenly you've looped almost halfway back around. Whoever is leading, I need a survival check to help keep you straight.
Who
on the
all is
path.
proficient other than me?
I'm not proficient, but...
I'm proficient in survival.
Did you use as nature or just survival?
Survival.
Survival.
Yeah, I'm proficient in it.
Oh, I am proficient in it. Sorry, I am proficient in it.
We got a +4. Does
I
anyone
can't
want
do
to
that.
I've got
roll?
Wait.
+5.
Yes,
I
I
can.
How
can.
about you roll and I'll assist or between Inaris and I reassist?
Double D20s.
Yeah.
Nice.
Double D20s.
Come on, natural 20. Come on.
Kraken dice, everyone. Our sponsor. If you would like to win your own set of Kraken dice, ! Giveaway. Come on, natural 20. I rolled an 18 and an 11, so it's not too bad. It's a 23.
23. Inaris, how are you helping Prion with this?
I will help guide, just let him know where he can step.
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
not gonna put him into the
Probably
brackish, nasty.
using his trident to check the floor.
Yeah, he doing a bit of that, and even though you both have similar vision, Inaris is able to see through the murk just a bit more and point out a few more sturdy places for you to go, and even sometimes something that's a bit half submerged lurking. Inaris, have you been actually to the Underdark before?
Yes. Yes.
This reminds you of walking through some of these underground lakes and such, where finding footing to cross can be a matter of life or death. It seems a bit familiar. And you're able to help Prion, and with that, he guides you in, and standing in front of you is, first of all, an enormous skull sitting on a small promontory on what looks like an island. This grove has ended in an immense clearing surrounded by trees, and indeed a giant skull sits in the middle. There are also a couple spears with what look to be stabbed little swamp creatures stuck up and just sitting there, perhaps marking territory, perhaps a warning, perhaps something else. But the fog gently sort of wafts back and forth. You think it should be day, but with the cover of the trees, the moss, the fog, it is dark. Ahead of you looms this skull, and you see just sort of slithering up from the water, breaking up, and his tail like a rudder. You see a figure emerge from the water with a spear in hand, kind of looks around, and then trots its way down into the mouth and seems to disappear far below into this creature's mouth. You think it is likely you have discovered the entrance to the lizardfolk lair. And that is where we will end tonight.